And we're recording. Hey, welcome to this episode of
my podcast in his man cave.
That's right. I'm Johnny Gates.
I'm Glenn Stewart.
I'm Cody Robbins.
Hey, what's up, Cody?
Cody's our guest.
Cody's our guest. Cody the beard, right?
And that's what they say.
That's what they say?
Yeah,
How long you been growing that beard?
Man, I've had it for a long time, but, I trim it up, so I try not to let it get too out of hand.
I had to cut mine off. I had mine down pretty big.
Well, mine doesn't really go longer. It gets bigger, so,
That is true.
Go to a black barber.
That's what I should.
I was spending like $45-$50 to get my beard cut, and I couldn't stand this shit. Like, I hated it. I hate spending because I couldn't, like, they were all layering it in the back like I was a soccer mom, and it was ridiculous. I hated it, and I was like, man, it doesn't look right. It doesn't look the way I want it to look. And somebody was like, go see a black dude. And I was like, what do you mean? They were like, man, nappy hair is nappy hair. Black dudes know what's up. And I was like, oh, okay, it's mildly racist, but whatever. And then I went and saw a black dude. Shout out to Charles over at Ramshack Barbershop on Jewella. That motherfucker will cut the shit out of your hair.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Last week, I just cut my hair. My hair was, down past my shoulder last week, and I got it cut off. So,
I couldn't imagine you with long hair like that, flowing in the wind.
Oh, it was.
Did you flick it?
I could.
Fabio style?
Yeah, it was really long.
Look at you. I bet the girls loved it, too, didn't they?
Man,
Can I run my fingers through it?
They may have, but they never said anything to me about
bitches.
it. I'm sure they did. But
Bitches. Bitches. Sorry. Y'all should have run your fingers through his hair. You don't know what you were missing. He cut it all off. Now you're fucked.
Yeah, it's gone.
Sorry. Okay, we kind of went off. So this is his podcast, My Man Cave, or
my podcast, his man cave.
There he is. All right.
I'm right here.
There he is.
I was just watching the beauty of a friendship start.
Hey man, this guy. Yeah, I mean we've met for all of about 10 minutes now, and so far so good.
Yeah.
I don't hate him.
That's a good thing.
Well, that's a positive.
Yeah.
Even though it is your man cave, but fucking arms over there.
Hey,
Good
yeah.
luck to you.
Well, I mean, I just sick my dogs on him.
I'm sure if you hated me, you wouldn't be alone, so you'd have company there. So.
Yeah, I got friends all around here that might show up in time, but something tells me I'm gonna have to try to beat you to my gun. Is what's gonna happen there. And then I smoke cigarettes, so I get winded easily. So.
Well, you got that gym membership, so.
Yeah, well, it's just all it does is hurt my ass because it's in my wallet. So. Gym membership's not doing me any good if you can't tell.
You didn't do the keychain? You decided to get an actual card?
No, it's the keychain thing. I just shoved it in my wallet, but I don't keep shit on my keychain like that.
Oh.
Yeah, I just remember my phone number and type it in at the register or.
What place is this?
Planet Fitness.
Anytime.
Okay.
It's Planet Fitness.
It's
not
Planet
Anytime. Excuse me.
Fitness.
I get them
Planet
confused.
Well,
Shout out.
Shout out to PF. I want a free membership.
Do they have? Is it true that they have donut parties once a month?
It's not a donut party. So basically, I'll let you know what this is.
Tell me about this, because I've heard this and I've never been to a Planet Fitness. So.
Well, basically, it's not a donut party. But once a month they do bring bagels, and they'll just set them out. They don't require you to eat them.
See how things get turned.
Yeah,
things get blown out of proportion.
And you have
all because of that lunk alarm.
You have different fucking spreads you can put on there. And the weirdest thing is, I've been there for over a year. I never had a bagel because magically the secret is you can just walk by it. There's
You don't
nobody
have
that's,
to touch
There's
it.
nobody that's like, are you gonna eat this?
This is a requirement here.
Hey, you do realize this is part of your monthly membership.
And then they also,
breach contract if you don't eat the bagel.
They also do pizza.
Pizza. I've heard the pizza.
Yeah.
So I heard that they have.
Maybe I am missing something.
I've heard that they have 2 floors maybe, and like one corner of weights and the rest is treadmills, and then you have donuts and pizza party that's a requirement. So,
No.
And they say if you come in and you pretty much more than a whisper, you get kicked out.
No.
Where do you work out at? Because clearly you do something.
He has a job.
It's been a while.
I have a job.
It's been a while since I've been, but we work out at a little place in town in Mansfield, which it's a pretty good ways from here, and we don't have donuts and stuff because I'm really not sure, but I really am jealous of the donuts because I love donuts.
Mansfield does have a damn good donut shop. That
They
AAA
do.
donut by the
They
railroad
do.
track.
They do.
Shout out.
Oh, shout out! They got the best blueberry cake donuts
I'm just gonna
in Louisiana.
I'm gonna explain this to Cody while we have the chance. So we're new, and we would whore ourselves out for anybody that wants to sponsor this.
Anybody. I'm looking for sheetrock sponsors. I'm looking for bathtub sponsors. There's not even water back here. I'm looking for bathtub sponsors.
You got nice wall. I mean, the wall
I
looks
just
really
did that
good.
wall.
Though.
I just did that over the
he
weekend because it
just-
looked like we were in a trash bag.
No, it looked like we were in a Louisiana rape dungeon.
I'm glad you changed that to Louisiana because you kept saying Alabama rape dungeon, and I took offense to that because we rolled no tide in this fucking place.
No
Tell you that
tide
right?
here.
No
None
tide here.
whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm not a football fan, but I obviously know what y'all are talking about.
So what are you a fan of? I think I've got an idea.
Well, I'm a race fan. I don't really watch a lot of racing, but I do some racing, and I like going and watching in person. But as far as everybody's like, yeah, well, what's going on in NASCAR and all this, and I don't really know about that.
I watched the last 10 laps. I've been racing for 18 years. I know he's been racing for, 30?
I've been racing for 31 years.
31?
Yeah.
Can I bring up the people that I know in the racing and see his reaction to that, or should I leave it out?
He's going to know them, but the thing is that will get us into a subject that, yes, by all means, he knows someone that we all know, and we all have different, because I do have somebody I'm going to bring up on this list, and I hope he listens. Nothing would make me happy because trust me. Go ahead. Tell him who you know.
I'm not here to get beat up now.
No. So I don't think that. I mean, look, I've been out of touch with these people for a long time, so I don't know if things have changed. But if they're anything like they were back in the day, I don't think they're going to beat you up.
Okay.
So I'll start by saying it's the 7-Up car.
7-Up. I've been seeing the 7-Up car since I was a kid.
So that's Rob.
The gentleman Rob Roy.
The gentleman Rob Roy.
That's what Tom
I knew.
Michaels
I knew his son David. He dated a friend. He dated my girlfriend's best friend.
I don't know them personally. I have no,
Oh.
I've seen them at the track and the 7-Up car. Obviously,
That's my only tie in this point in my life of racing.
That's not
Well,
true.
we're here.
Until now,
We're here.
up until this point. Excuse me,
You
until now.
got two living
It's you,
legends
it's you
at
two.
this table.
Well, I know you think you're a legend. Clearly, we've had a conversation. Do you think he's a legend
Oh, he's definitely a legend. In
in his own mind or in real life? Is somebody else going to agree with you, or are
Have
you
you
just
ever-
saying that because you're here?
Have you ever been to Boot Hill?
I have once. Which one's Boot Hill? The one in Minden or the one that's over like
in Greenwood.
in Greenwood?
Greenwood.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Well-
I've been to each of them once, and I was out on my way to the one. I guess that's Boot Hill out in Greenwood a second time, and the girl I was dating at the time was jerking me off, and I ran off the road.
Oh.
And we ended up not going.
It's
Yeah.
a great Boot Hill
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, we ended up not going, but I ought to shout out to her, but I hadn't seen her in forever. Bitch, you shouldn't have told me you were pregnant with my baby. That's all
Well-
I got to say. Now you know who you are.
Well, where I was going is
Sorry.
if you're in the crowd at Boot Hill sitting in the stands and he happens to walk in and the crowd goes wild, so there's some kind of status there.
They start throwing things or like cheering?
No, it's more of a cheer. It's more of a cheer.
That's a crowd cheering if you've never heard it.
I don't think they all know his name though. I think
Yeah.
they just know Big Sexy.
Yeah, they
Big
don't.
Sexy.
They don't know his name.
They don't know my name.
Big Sexy.
Everybody's
Really?
like,
You're
man, I was
learning
like-
new things.
Like, man, do y'all know Glenn? Like, Glenn who? I'm like, man, Big Sexy. Oh yeah.
Yeah, literally one night, my dad paid my way into the pits, and he put it under my name, and the lady was like, "Who is that?" And he's like, "My son. You've seen Glenn?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Big Sexy." And she's like, "Oh, that's not Glenn."
Oh, Glenn.
Two
Oh,
different-
Big Sexy.
Glenn is a different thing. Big Sexy is a monster. Like,
Now we've got another Big Sexy.
no, we don't. I will go ahead and clear
There's
that.
two of you
shit.
motherfuckers?
I will clear. Cortland Smith.
Cortland Smith is also
Shout out to Cortland.
shout out to Cortland, and he's
Cortland is an awesome guy. And look, I went and lost all this weight, but the first time I saw it, like I had moved to California. When I come back, there it is,
new
big as
Sexy.
shit, Big Sexy. And I walk up and I'm like, look, if you're gonna steal my name, you should at least be decent.
Spell it different or something.
No, you can't. No. And he's like, oh, you're the original. So I have to literally on my car it says Big Sexy and then it says the original.
He needs
Yeah.
to be new Big Sexy, like the new Coke or new Pepsi, whatever it was. Clear Big Sexy.
I'm gonna be honest with you. As far as the name goes, Cortland's a big old boy.
He is a big
But
guy.
but
Hey,
big
and
a boy
he's
are
a
you?
nice guy too.
they're awesome. Him and his dad are awesome people.
Awesome
and hey,
people.
he had a great run last night. He was
Did he?
he was maybe going to take the lead and kind of got roughed up a little bit by a guy, but
Did you race last night?
I did race last night.
How'd you do?
I ran third
Out of 3.
out of 3
Oh,
cars.
great. Nice.
Yeah.
It sounds
Hey.
like me in high school. Graduated 295th out of 295 people.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, no, Cortland. I'll give him 100% credit. That boy has done nothing but get better.
Oh,
and
definitely.
the thing is he's got a great attitude.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't let it get it down, anything like that. The only time that he's ever scared me was he flipped at Arklatex. And when he flipped at Arklatex, he's a big guy. And the thing is you can't get us out of the car like you can a small guy. Like if it's a little guy, he can just let himself out. If you're a big guy, you're not doing that. All you're going to do is, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, flip the fucking car over. He's too damn big. And he can hear me screaming at the fence, like, flip him over. Don't try to get him out like that. And they're still trying. No, he's got a full containment seat. He's not getting out.
Just turn it back on.
It's not on fire. Flip him over.
Right.
Yeah, he's not, and the thing is what's really funny is those of us that have been doing it for a while, every time my shit is caught on fire,
I've never lived that life.
I do not.
Every time my car catches on fire.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like,
not that big of a
I
deal.
have never. Have you seen like the new guys that just like overreact?
Oh,
They're like
yeah.
they'll jump out while it's still rolling.
Yeah, and it's just 99% of the time the fire's gonna and then go right out. But they jump out, crash their car, spray fire extinguisher down in the carburetor, have to rebuild everything. Like
It's all part of the show,
It's not
baby.
really that huge of a thing. You just got yourself a little oil fire.
A little
there.
oil fire.
Yeah,
That's
so,
You
it.
got some brake fluid on your
Yeah,
exhaust.
now if it's
Transmission.
normally
fluid.
if it's on fire,
I had a transmission catch on fire once.
if you got a fire in front of you, you're normally fine. If you got a fire behind you, you better get out.
the hell
Yeah,
out.
I'd leave. I'd get out of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So if y'all been racing, you said how long? 18 for you?
18.
How long for you?
31.
31 years. How old are you if you don't mind
I'm
me
30,
asking?
fixing to be 35. So
30. So you've been racing since you were 4?
yeah, I have.
Like, what'd you start racing?
I started racing 4-wheelers and then moved to go-karts and then I started racing the mini sprints. And
All this local.
Yep, pretty much local. We traveled some with the sprint cars, but I'm obviously not a professional race car driver.
Right, and you work on your own car, you build all your own stuff. Is that what
Well,
you do, or is that a secret you can't tell me?
No,
Because I know he's secretive about shit.
No, I'm not.
He was like,
No,
man,
I'm
I
not.
can tell you how I run, but I don't want you to tell nobody else.
That's bullshit.
We're gonna put this out there,
That
and
is
I can't let my
bullshit.
secrets be told.
No,
No, he has seen me start more shit in the pits because
I'm
people
busting
want to be.
I'm busting your balls.
No.
Is what I'm. You made it very clear that you don't keep secrets
So I'm
on the
going to go ahead and
racetrack.
name drop here.
Oh,
So
shit.
there's a
Here it
big-
comes.
There's a big race, and Little John Tuggle was telling me, he's like, oh, man, I wish I knew how much weight Whitehead had in the back of his car. So I just walk up to the car and just lift his deck lid like an asshole. And Whitehead's like, you can't do that. I'm like, Justin, I clearly just did. And I look at John, I'm like, look, he's running the same amount of weight you are. And then Justin's like, what are you looking for? And I said, nothing that powder coat can't tell me about. And turned around and walked off. And I just left John over there with Justin, and they're just looking at me like, there's a reason. There's
Now,
a reason.
when you say weight, do you mean like
Lead.
physical weights
Physical lead weight that we pour in make weights.
to just keep the ass into the car down? Because y'all, it's mud tracks, right? Dirt tracks.
It's muddy when you first start, but I mean, believe it or not, once it dries out, it's like driving on ice.
Yeah.
It's just slick as goose shit.
Yeah.
You can bolt the weight in a lot of different places for different reasons, So
Which, by the way,
Okay.
anybody.
Well, I don't know
listening-
shit about racing.
it's a
Anybody.
setup, something for setup. And
Anybody.
if your car's too light.
Anybody
whatever.
that's listening to this, bolt your fucking weight.
twice.
Twice.
Yes, and paint it white.
Yeah. Just,
Bolt it and paint it, huh?
well, no, this year several people have gotten hit. Like, now I'm not bragging or anything, but me and him typically go out there in the two ugliest cars.
That's a fact.
But I can promise you this: the weight ain't coming off of it.
No.
Like
Is it like is it?
50-pound slugs of lead.
Are they just in the trunk? Are they
No,
exposed?
they're bolted to bars. But these fools, like last weekend, I'm not a tech guy, but I was helping a friend, and he had it ratchet strapped to the frame. And I'm like, what the hell are you? You're going to kill somebody.
Yeah, you see, if you're going, 60, 70, 80 miles an hour and a 50-pound chunk of lead's flying through the air and hits you in the face.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine
Yeah.
what happens.
Shout
Yeah.
out Jason Ingalls.
Not
That
good.
happened to him.
Shout out to
Did
Lead. I mean, I'll
Yeah.
take any sponsor.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, he
Lead's too much,
He
huh?
got, he got
he
lucky
did.
is
He
what
had a
he
good
did.
hit. Yep.
Yeah, that
Glad that wasn't worse.
No.
So what's the worst wreck you've ever been in?
Man, I race sprint cars, so I guess a wreck that really
Let me
looks
ask
good.
you this before you go into that. What's a sprint car? Because I don't know what that is.
All right, a sprint car is an open wheel car, and they typically have wings on the top.
Is that the one that's got that big?
Got a big-
Okay, I know
big
what you're
wing on the
talking
top.
about.
So
okay.
we run with wings and without wings. Pretty much the same car, just a little bit different setup. And I guess in that class, a really good-looking wreck's not really a bad wreck. You know, I see people in the factory stocks or whatever, they turn over and maybe once or maybe twice and you know, we pretty much do that on the way to a wreck. But I guess maybe the worst wreck I've ever had, we were in Lufkin one night and
Where?
Lufkin, Texas.
Okay, yeah.
And I got turned. Somebody hooked my back bumper and it turned me straight into the wall. Maybe 110, 115, and I hit the wall head on. Which it didn't look spectacular like some of the others I've had, but it hurt. When I got out of the car, I pulled my belts off and I stood up and the seat come up with me. It was a hard wreck, and but I flipped. I think I flipped. There's a video from Lone Star. I think I flipped 12 times, and I flipped over the wall.
12 times, end over end, 12 times,
It
or
was side over side,
side,
and got in a wall. But you know,
Fuck
it's
that. You never had your arms stuck out and
No, I've never. Luckily, I've never been really hurt.
never
I've
fucked
had
up like
a few
that.
concussions, but you know, nothing major.
Yeah, you seem like you've had a couple concussions.
Yeah, exactly.
I know for a
I know you've had some concussions. I can tell by talking to your autistic ass.
Oh no, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. One night I got put in the wall in the factory stock, and the thing is I'll make it perfectly clear. Most sprint car wrecks, you'll see the other drivers are like, ugh, that's just what sprint cars do.
Yeah.
That's what they do, and it's not us not being concerned, but that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You're going that fast in this little bitty hamster ball of a race car, and like, cause I had somebody ask me, they said, Glenn, will you drive my sprint car? I'm like, oh, kiss my ass. I'm not Cody Robbins. Like
You drive anything?
Oh yeah, I'll
Yeah.
drive anything.
Well,
Yeah.
awesome.
My thing is I'm taller than you,
Oh yeah, by a lot.
and I don't like it. I don't like the thought of being
All right.
Like, I mean, you got to understand, when Cody first started being one of my biggest fans, I was driving a big car. I had a 74 Buick Regal.
Yeah, it was like a land yacht.
It was a
Had a paddle in the back just in
Yeah,
case
I
you
could-
broke down?
I
He
could
could
make-
get first, second, and third
Yeah,
in the
easy.
same race.
In the same race?
Yeah.
If I decided that you weren't going to pass that big son of a bitch, you were not passing that
That's
car.
funny. That's very funny.
Yeah.
It also had the words "Got your dumbass" written on the back of it, which, they told me I can't run that anymore.
Really?
Yeah, they said it's not family friendly.
Not family friendly.
You should say stupid then. And that should fix everything.
I'm bringing it back, but it's going to say $$.
Yeah.
AZZ.
Yeah.
Got your ass.
Right now it says Twisted Still and Sex Appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes along with the names.
Yeah, I know, right?
Big sexy.
Well, I felt like I was in a big sexy dick measuring contest for the longest time, because everybody's like, you don't look like Cortland. I'm like, because I'm not his dad. Like, I know his dad. His dad's a great guy.
Yeah.
And they're good people, but
Man,
I
they're
mean,
extra.
And that's the
nice.
other big sexy.
yeah. And I'm not gonna lie to you. If I'm not racing, I will totally root for him as big sexy, but if he does badly, I call him imposter sexy.
Imposter sexy.
I'm like, no, because I had one kid come up to me and goes, and they're like, and Big Sexy's coming to take, he's going to do this. And all of a sudden this kid looks at me, and you can tell he's having this moment where he's
He
like,
didn't know what was happening.
and he goes, you're not out there. And I'm like, yeah, that guy's a fake. He's not the real deal.
It's not the real one.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch up from racing for a second. Do you play any instruments or do any music, anything like that? You're not like a drummer, bass player,
No,
singer?
I sing a few songs, but as far as the instrument goes, no.
What's your music of choice?
Well, I like old rock and roll and old country, stuff like that. You know, I'm not really opposed to anything except new country.
That new country is
New
pretty
country's
bad.
pretty
Yeah.
bad. You know, I mean,
I bet is Old Town Road one of your new classics? It's an instant classic.
It's not an
my
instant
little
classic.
girl
Instant
loves
classic. Yeah, no, I have a bit where I talk about I have to get high around my kids, but it makes life easier. And like I can Old Town Road and Baby Shark are my favorite two songs. So we even
Yeah.
mesh them up in the house. I'm gonna take my baby shark down the Old Town Road. I'm gonna.
No.
So, but yeah, no,
I don't like anything you just did.
you love it. Don't
I
get.
hated it.
But that's the problem is you don't get high with your kids. Well, you
No,
don't
I
have
don't.
kids, but you don't get high either.
I don't have kids.
No.
No.
Do you have any children? If you don't mind me asking.
I have one, yeah. One little girl. She's
Little girl?
4 years old.
Nice.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome.
Wrapped around your finger, huh?
Yep.
Or you're wrapped
Yeah,
around
other
her
way
finger.
around,
Yeah,
yeah. You know, it's
I got a little girl in there.
Yeah, we have
She's
a good
7.
time.
Yeah, that's my girl.
Yep.
I've always said, when I've got 3, and I had people ask me in the beginning, oh man, yeah, with more than one kid, how do you separate the love? How do you do it? And I'm like, man, it's just you love them 3 different ways, and it's like the difference between my son and my daughter is, if my son came to me and said, "Dad, I killed a man," I'd go get him a shovel. If my daughter came to me and said, Dad, I killed a man, I'd go get the shovel. And what I mean by that is my son needs to know how to do everything that he needs to do, but my daughter doesn't have to do a fucking thing that I don't want her to have to do. And that's the difference in the love that I have for my children.
Yeah, that's good. That's understandable.
Yeah.
The first 6 months, maybe a little more, I was kind of, I'd say traumatized.
Just because of what you got in your hands?
Yeah, because
I got to keep this fucking thing alive?
I think, if I would have had a kid at maybe 17 or 18 before I had my own life, it would have been a little different. But when you wait till you're 30, you kind of...
I think I was 28 when I had my first.
I'm 34.
And you kind of got it figured out on your own, and when you wanted to go somewhere, you go somewhere, and when you want to do something, you do something, and then that all changes when that comes. And the first 6 months, it's just no sleep and no talking, but after that, I wouldn't trade it for the world right now.
And it gets easier with every kid. Like, I
don't plan on learning about that.
Oh man, I'm telling you, my first one, we did everything by the book. The second one, the book was in the house. The third one, we were wiping ass with that book. That book didn't mean shit. I'm telling you, man, because you're like, oh man, we got to have all these bottles. We got to do, keep all this. We got to have that. They can't do. No. My third one. I mean.
He's drinking Coke out of a sippy
Yeah. She drank through the whole pregnancy. That's how much we didn't give a fuck about it, So, but yeah, after from 1 to 3, everything changes because those commercials that you see where it's like, the mom being meticulous with the first one and then the second one she's just grabbing shit and throwing it in a bag. That's the way it is. It's like, oh damn, I didn't grab the right shirt. That's one of mine. Oops.
The weirdest part for me, because I don't have kids, is like a lot of people like. And I'm not going just straight back to the track, but
right. No, we can.
We have a lot of drivers that have small children,
right.
And the thing is the older guys, the ones that we're supposed to be looking up to because they're like supposed to be the guy. Well, I've been racing for $1.5 million. It's weird because now we have these young children that are acting like children in pits, and then we have these old men that are reverting back to being children,
right.
And they're doing stuff like driving really fast through the pits, and now you have like this generation, this middle of the ground that's yelling at them like old men, like slow it down.
Yeah.
There's kids here.
Yeah,
right.
like don't run over the babies. Because I don't have any kids, but I have 37 like nieces and nephews.
Jesus,
so,
your brothers and sisters are busy
no,
or bored.
They weren't busy getting college degrees, but they were getting trophies and screwing. That's for
oh
sure.
Man, that's what happens when you're bored.
Hey,
you fuck.
Louisiana, you can do a few things. You can bowl, be really good at bowling.
Yeah.
You can race cars.
Yeah.
You can do what you do.
Yeah.
Which is work and have children, or you can just have children and hope that the government will help you pay for them.
Oh, they will do that.
No, I was denied every chance. Every time we ever man, fuck, we need some assistance. Nope. Sorry about your luck, Mr. Gates.
Well, speaking of the singing deal, what a lot of people don't know about me, and I guess because I throw on a few fits and stuff, I sing at church, and I really enjoy that. We have a good time doing that, and I have it's a good church family, and the lady that her name's Tracy Miller, she leads us, and it's awesome. We have a good time doing it, and my wife got me there.
Shout out to Jesus.
Yeah.
He can sponsor too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
I'll take a holy
He just
sponsor.
said that, and I felt remarkably like we were heathens. I warned him before in the mail.
Oh yeah, I'm not a church going guy. Look, I was raised. I guess to put it, I was raised Mormon by my best friend's family.
See, I didn't know that. I wouldn't have been in this podcast.
No. Well, so like me and my best friend, every other weekend he was at my house. Every other weekend I was at his house. This is just the way it works, as long as I can remember. So the weekends that we were at his house, we'd go to the church with his parents, and there was a Mormon church. It's where I did Boy Scouts. They've got some weird things, but it's still church. It's still community and family and being honest and things like that, which is the good side of it. But there's a lot of weird things that come with any kind of religion that you deal with. There was people that when we got older in life, and it was one of those things where you didn't have to go to church on Sundays with his parents or whatever. I tried to get back into church, and I was like 15, and we were going to this Baptist church, and this Baptist preacher told me that I needed to be saved, and I needed to repent for my parents because they were going to hell because they got divorced and remarried, and the Lord did not approve of such a thing. So I was going to go to hell for my parents' sins.
sin, huh?
And I said, well, it sounds like this place is fucked up. And I got up and walked out and never went back in. And
You know,
I haven't really been back to church since.
You know, that happens a lot, and I was in that situation. I hadn't been put out, and I hadn't felt that way. But you know, I'll say that I'm not a religious guy, because to me, religion is a business, and you know, they're out for money.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian guy. I believe in Jesus, and you know, I know that going to church won't send you to heaven.
Right.
And no amount of sin will send you to hell either, because that's already been paid for. But rejecting the Lord will send you. You know, if you reject Jesus Christ, then in my opinion, that'll send you to hell.
It'll be first class ticket.
Yeah,
First class
and
ticket.
you know, a lot of people don't see it that way, and that's fine too.
Yeah,
but
to each their own, I guess.
yeah, each their own. But you know, if I'm wrong, then what have I lost?
Right.
But if they're wrong, then
yeah,
you
what
know,
have they lost? Yeah,
Right,
no, I can
exactly.
respect that.
You know,
And
that's
I
how
I make a joke that I treat God like that mechanic friend of mine, where it's like I only call him when I need
Right.
him.
Hey, and
Like,
that's,
hey man, my transmission's shifting kind of hard. Can you help me out down
Yeah.
here? You know,
that's a common thing. You know,
Yeah,
a lot
everybody
of people,
does it,
A lot
yeah.
of people, you know, and most everybody, you know, nobody's perfect, so
Well,
we just do the best we can. And
I got asked one night, like it was some, we used to race against a preacher of some sort. Well, I know one guy drove a pro mod, but anyway, we were talking about it, and he came up to me, he's like, do you pray? And I'm like, yeah. And he asked me if I prayed to win. And I pray before I race. I'm not going to lie about that. It's what
Lord,
I do.
keep the fires at bay.
No, it's
Tires on the ground.
No, it's just
and
make,
hopefully I bolted those weights down
no,
securely.
That's not what it is at all. It's,
Jesus, take the wheel.
man, you're talking over everybody. I'm going to need you to shut the fuck up a little bit. Now, see, here I am trying to have a really good moment.
Oh,
and
I'm
you're
sorry,
just-
my bad.
Good God.
Here,
Just
let me
constant-
step away. Hold on.
Yeah, just walk off for a second, asshole. Is this? Oh, so now it just switches? No, anyway, but basically mine was just like make me smooth, and
Right.
and not let me get hurt.
Right.
Winning, I like in factory stock. Winning is a hard game.
It is a hard
I
game.
mean, we're talking about like how many? I don't know how many people showed up for that last big race, but it was like 80 cars, something
yeah,
like.
and you know, out of 80, I think that well, if you take Whitehead out of the equation,
Yeah,
then
you
you got
would-
60 cars that could probably win the race.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
with him there, then you got nobody else that can win the race.
Yeah, well, and everybody, oh my God, see, that was the thing that got me the most about racing this year is it's all my racing friends want to talk about is how to beat him, and
Yeah.
like I don't concern myself
Right.
with him. Like I think he's nice. He's a nice person.
Yeah, I got nothing against him at all.
No, but I mean, do I want to beat him? Absolutely. Am I sitting at home just losing sleep? Like, oh man. The only thing what makes me laugh is the few people that have beat him. You know, I've had more people come up to me and go, "Hey, you remember that night you were about to go a lap down and you refused to go down a lap?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, but it wasn't because of him. If anybody. The problem is I'm a firm believer, and this is a racetrack, but I got my facts checked by Dean Rasco on this. I'm going to clear this up because a certain driver that will not be named because it will start a mountain of horseshit. He comes up to me, he's like, next time your slow-ass car is getting lapped, you should get the hell out of the way. I'm like, if it was so slow, why didn't you pass it?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
second of all, and then that's when Dean was sitting there, and Dean's like, there's nothing that says he has to get the hell out of your way. He said Glenn had already gotten up to fourth when he got knocked into the infield.
See, that's a misconception about a lot of people have when they get the cross flag,
Yeah.
the blue and yellow flag. Most people think it means get out of the way. It just means hold your line. You know, when you go and maybe not in a factory stock so much, but in a sprint car, a lot of times you're going a lot faster than a lap car.
Right.
So you try to watch them as much as you can and see where they're going. And if they get the blue flag, then they just all of a sudden they do something different, and that's what screws you up. If you just hold your line, then I'll find a way around you.
Right.
But
Be a little.
just stay straight and still race hard because you're still racing somebody. I mean, you're on the track just like we are, and I've lapped people and I've been lapped, so
I'm not gonna lie to you. The first race I ever won in factory stock, so it's a terrible story. Anyway, we're going, and I was so excited because I'm leading, right? And I'm outrunning Sean and John Tuggle, so by God, I am just happy. And this lap car is all over the place, and I can't find the picture to save my life, but I ramped over the lap car to take the checkered because I was not, I was new to it, could not figure out how not to run him over.
Well, a lot of times, I see people getting mad and posting things on Facebook
I was
about.
joking. I don't want you to feel like
No,
everybody...
I didn't want to eat on camera.
They get mad at the lap cars, but man, when I race against a lap car that's all over the place, and I feel like he may take me out when I pass him, then I try to go help him. I mean, because obviously they don't want to be getting lapped, and they don't want to be walled to the infield, and I feel like maybe if I can help a little bit, help them, and
now
maybe
when
I
you
won't.
say help them, you mean go,
Like
after the race?
After the race, like maybe give them a
I've
tip.
helped many of them into the infield. Like I can come around the corner and
Yeah.
just give them a little nudge and be
Well,
like,
it seems to never work out for me. When I get close to a lap car, it seems like, man, no matter what, if I get close and touch them, then I'm out. So I try to, I mean, I don't want to be a know-it-all because I'm definitely not. Now, obviously, I'm just a weekend warrior here. So, but we've been doing it a while, and I think I might could lead somebody in the right direction if they just started, and maybe next week he won't be there, and I won't run me over.
so my car was, so I rebuilt my dad's car. I was super stoked about it, right? Never raced at Manny before in my life. Okay? I get there, brand new body. I'm going to race. It's my birthday weekend. Hell yeah, I'm going to go. I'm like 16th on the starting line, and he's up front. But the track is a little flatter, so I'm not used to that. And no offense to anybody from Manny. I don't know what it is about Manny. Manny's the only track that makes me incredibly nervous as a driver. I love the track itself, but for some odd reason, it's like they lose all of their talent at the same fucking time. It's like one of them's like, oh, I'm not a race car driver anymore. 20 cars just going every which way. And that's what happened. He goes in the
This
corner.
isn't a smash derby?
It was that night.
A lot of times it turns out that way.
He came around, he spun, or somebody spun him, I don't know, but he's sitting in the middle, but you can't see that they're scattering around him. And I go flying in there, and I mean I allowed him to T-bone me with my car. I ran into him, just knocked it, but he had this log splitter bumper, and I mean just caved the entire
It killed his car and
Completely.
I kept racing. It didn't.
Good job.
Didn't,
Oh no, I still raced. I still finished.
You still finished.
I still
But
finished.
it did kill your car.
I had to replace halo bars and all
Yeah,
kinds of shit.
It barely scratched mine.
That's funny.
No, it was.
How long had you been racing at that time? You said you were pretty
this
new.
was like last year.
This was last
Oh, this
year.
was last year. Oh, shit. I thought you said you were still new at it.
No, that was when I ramped over the lap.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. I got the two stories twisted
Yeah.
up. My apologies.
Yeah, this was just.
This was a couple weeks ago. It was
yeah,
last
this was
Thursday.
Yeah, this was like yesterday.
Shit, that's why he hadn't been racing. That's why he started podcasting.
No. I'll tell you what. You know why I haven't raced? I'll be honest with you.
All right, tell me.
Now, look, everybody's thinking I've heard more crap about me not racing. They're like, oh, Glenn's scared.
Glenn's scared.
scared
He's a
of it.
pussy.
What would you be scared of?
Right.
You've done this.
I've done it. I've taken them in the air. I've taken them off the back straightaway. I've taken the wall on at Boot Hill.
Are we talking? What are we talking? Taking on penises or
No, cars.
cars?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
but
Sorry. Just make sure. I know they're confused too.
Just that dirt track drivers take on penises?
You were just talking about taking it in the back end and
Oh my
taking
God.
it over the
See,
top
that's
and
where
down the throat,
it-
whatever you'd said.
Is
In
that-
the air.
Yeah, in the air.
Something
Did he
like
say air or airs? Anyway, sorry,
Airs.
I interrupted. I apologize.
Anyway.
Don't yell at me anymore, Dad.
I'm not gonna yell at you. I was just surprised because you got. It's like I love how happy you are right now. You're just super.
I'm just
stoked.
chilling, man.
But no, I make a joke because I keep going into the pits on these big races, and it's mainly because I have some things that I don't poor boy and I don't beg for money.
Right.
I pay for my own shit, and the thing is, if I can't afford to do it, I just can't afford to do it. So I'm sitting there and they're like, Glenn's afraid, he's scared of these big races, and I'm like, but no, literally I have 2 videos on my phone where I go home and I just hit my car with a hammer, and I'm like, you did good, we won. My car
It's not a loss.
you come out a winner for
Yeah.
sure.
My
Yeah.
car hasn't lost shit this
Yeah.
year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of times at the big races,
You're
it's
betting,
not
you're
good.
gambling.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is and honestly, and I'm not bragging at all. If with my motor, because the guy that built my motor and everything like that, I mean, you're talking about in my car, brand new, and he's seen it. I don't run junk on my shit. My car is easily. I have like $11,000 in this damn car.
Damn.
Yeah, 80 other idiots, and the way they're doing it is that does bother me. Do you think that they race with respect now?
No, definitely not in a
No.
packer stock. But
No.
yeah, a lot of it, a lot of the reason is because, well, some of them just don't know any better. But nobody works on their own stuff. In my opinion, that causes them not to have respect.
Right.
I mean, you go out and buy this completely done. You've got no time in it, and
Yeah, you didn't twist a single nut. You didn't turn nothing.
A lot of people are not
They got
even.
pit
They're not.
chiefs.
Yeah, they're
I
not
don't
paying
have
for it
that,
either.
yeah.
So
they
are
got
there
nothing
sponsorships
involved.
in all this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any sponsors?
I got some people that help me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can shout out to them all you want.
Yeah. Well.
If you want to, it's up to you.
Yeah. We were just talking about Cortland Smith, Darty, his dad. He helps me.
He's a good guy.
He's a really good guy. They'll do anything for anybody. They help a lot of people.
And they love racing.
Yeah. He
Do you
helps
guys
me.
actively try to seek out sponsors?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, it's I'm kind of like him. I hate to go and ask because, here comes another one of those dirt track racers.
fuck
You know.
that. You go ask, sir. What's the worst they're going to say? No, and you're right where you are?
Well, you're
the
in the
best thing
same
they can
spot.
say is yes, and then you got a new carburetor? Come
Yeah.
on.
Well, see, the thing is, but you also you have so many people that there's a shitload of dirt track drivers.
Right.
Okay.
Looking for sponsors.
So I've always gotten my sponsors. I've been sponsored by a Lutheran church. I've been sponsored by a daycare, Avon Ladies.
there you go.
Right.
I go for the odd sponsors.
odd.
Yeah.
stuff
Can,
that
if you
people
paint
won't
your
go
car pink, Mary Kay will do it.
No, they won't.
No?
They
We
won't.
had a breast cancer awareness car, our sprint car. I raced for Danny Williamson out of Pineville, and it was a breast cancer awareness car, and it was a really good-looking car, and we had a lot of help that year.
It's October. Is it Breast Cancer Awareness Month?
It is.
Okay,
It is
well,
right
shout
now.
out to
Yeah.
breast cancer.
Yeah.
Awareness.
Awareness,
save
not
the
to not to
boobies.
the cancer. I love tits. Don't think it wrong.
Yeah. Save the boobies.
Save the boobs.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm sponsored by Graduate Sales. So anytime y'all buy
Like
a
Balfour?
yeah,
No shit?
Yeah, anybody that buys a Clash ring, you're helping Big Sexy.
Look at you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and I ask about sponsors because I'd love sponsors on here, and I guess I just got to start. Once we start making content and getting things out,
Right.
and start getting people, I'll start doing it because I have no shame.
Well, I want
My job is sales, is what I do during the day, and I'm so used to being told no, it's not even funny.
No
I
big
tell
deal to
people
you.
that if you can do sales, you can hit on women. If you can hit on women, you can do sales, because how many times have you hit on a woman and she's been like, "Go the fuck away from me"? Never. Look at you. Is your name Big Sexy? Big Cocky over here.
No.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you.
Yeah.
Look,
Well, I mean, he's a good-looking guy, so I can
yeah.
see.
do you want to know what the dumbest shit I've heard so far was? Do you remember when?
Is it something I said?
No. But it's around the racetrack. You're gonna get a lot of people that want to start these stupid shit. And it was can't think of his name. Big guy. God, it's me. There's only a few of us that are built like brick shit houses out there. But anyway, they were like, oh,
Usually that means very, very attractive. A brick shit house. Usually talk about a woman
That's
and refer
normally-
to him as a brick
it's a-
shit house.
If your name's Big Sexy, then I'm pretty sure that
You're a
got
shit
that.
house.
You're
not
a
necessarily
shit
brick.
You're a shit house.
Oops.
But
I'm supposed to be on
Turnage.
your side.
It was Turnage.
Steve Turnage.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Great guy.
Bought him a crate late model.
Yeah, did
Yes.
he?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. It's
I
gonna be
recognize
awesome.
all of these names is what's fucked up.
Yeah.
Because I bet I know every one of these
Steve
people
Turnage
some way,
has
shape, or
got
form.
forearms like
Good God.
it's
So
like this type.
the first time I ever met Steve Turnage, he comes out of the car, and he's like, "Hey, Big Sexy," and I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Do you like to drink beer, fight, and fuck shit up?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You're my boy, Sexy," and just turned around.
Wow, nice to meet you, sir.
Have you seen that video where he took the taser and they shot him? And
I
he's-
haven't seen that.
They shoot him with a taser, and he grabs it and goes, "I eat lightning for breakfast, motherfucker," and pulls it out like that. And I looked at Steve and I'm like, you just made it clear that we're just gonna have to shoot you.
Yeah.
I used to do Mudbug Madness, and I was fucking with one of the cops one year, and I said, "Tase me," and he was like, "Man, no, I'm not doing it." And I was like, "I want to see what it feels like. Tase me." He was like, "There's too much paperwork involved," and I was like, "You're a pussy," and he was like, "But I can," and not, without hesitation, without nothing, right in the face with pepper spray. And he was like, "But I can," and I was like, "Holy shit!" I don't know if you've ever been hit with pepper spray, point blank like that. Oh my God, it is. I mean, it's terrible. It's bad. I know different people have different reactions. There's some people that are gonna be screaming, "Ah, you're a pussy."
I don't
But
know how
I took a
haven't,
mouthful of it, and it was just.
I don't know how you haven't either.
I haven't been tased or hit with pepper spray.
Or that's your privilege coming out.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I have been.
Tough subject these days.
I've had a couple billy clubs, but that ain't that big a deal.
Yeah, I've always been able to talk my way out of the cops, except for that day.
No.
I was fucking with the wrong one, and he was like, "I don't have to do paperwork to pepper spray you."
They were joking about like us getting like a fight club together, and they're like their first fight, Glenn versus Cody Robbins, and I'm like, me and him are the nicest guys.
Yeah.
Like, what? First of all, you would have to really convince us. You know what I'm saying?
To
Like,
not talk about it? Because
No.
that's the first rule of Fight Club, is you don't talk about Fight Club.
Right.
And that's the problem I think you would have, is you tell everybody.
No, but my point is it wouldn't happen because like I'm friends with Cody and I'm friends with Steve, and we've never had to fight
Everybody
each other.
thinks that I'm a bad guy or I get mad. I do get mad at the races, but it's because, I'm passionate about winning, and
Yeah.
when I
You're not
don't
there to
win,
lose.
it aggravates me. And people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't do all that around the kids and all that." And
Fuck
they're,
your
they're-
kids.
They're right. Maybe I shouldn't, but
Now,
I get
look,
mad,
will-
and I
will-
try not to.
I
But
will tell you, I
Do
was
you,
always
man? Kids know what's up. I tell you that now.
Well, no, I always did it. That was always a rule of mine that I believe that right in front of the kids, I didn't want to do it because I guess it's because we have heathens in the Lindsay family, but I was like, no. But in the pits, that's where grown men go,
Right.
and that's we can handle up.
right.
And but then now everybody's like, oh, you're going to go to jail. You got to pay these stupid. Look, if you come to my pit looking for an ass whooping, I keep it in the trailer at all times.
It's ready to
It's
go.
ready to go.
With a can opener right next to it.
No, the can is always open.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
like, no, you don't
You're
understand.
fully prepared.
No, and I'm
Now, with the can being open, will it ever go stale?
No, it has
All
not.
right.
In all these years, it has. But the thing is, since I lost all that weight, apparently, I lost the weight. And like some people that have never approached me have approached me, and they're like, "Hey, Glenn," and they get all ballsy, and I'm like, "You are aware I am the same,
Same guy.
the same guy." Like, but now I can jump over you. That's the weird part.
Yeah, now I'm not as winded.
Well, like not this past weekend, well, not last night, last weekend. I got mad, just not at anybody, but I got mad, and I threw a small fit. I mean, I beat my car up, and throwed stuff, and threw the jack, and it's been 5 or 6 years since that happened, and I guess maybe some people had forgotten, maybe some people never saw it, but that guy was asleep, he wasn't dead,
Right.
so I woke him up.
I come out the back. We used to have a screen door on the back door here, and it was an old metal one, and the dogs kept jumping up and hitting it. And I go to walk out the back door one day, and the dogs have jumped up on it and wedged it where it won't open. And I'm so used, you get so used to opening the door and walking outside. I mean, I head first into the glass, and like it doesn't like shatter and fall all the way out, but it breaks. And I'm like, motherfucker. And I got so mad. I just kicked it. And I kicked the whole screen door off into the backyard. Now I got glass to clean up from everywhere. Fucking dogs are running. Kids are crying. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah.
So, you try to put a handle on it. Then the other day, my shoulder was hurting. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
My shoulder was, I couldn't even lift I had a friend of mine come in and give me a shot right in my shoulder sitting right here the other day. And just because I needed some relief and I don't have insurance, but I come walking through, like the other day when my shoulder was hurting real bad, I come walking through the house and I turned, and we've got one of these old school like telephone holder things in the hallway that old houses used to have. And I hit it with my hand, and now my hand hurts. And I got so pissed off, I just smashed it. And I mean, I smashed it, and it broke. And I had to kind of like push it back in there. And my wife is like,
That's how my wife does.
really?
Oh no, see.
Really? Did you have to do all that?
The last time I was at Manny, I lost it. Like, I lost it. Okay, so you see this lovely finger, for those of y'all. This is my finger. Okay, so it was still in the brace.
Give him the finger, Glenn.
I'm trying to race with this. And I had just gotten it out of the brace, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to race with it in the brace. And a dirt clod hit me in it. And you see me jerk towards the wall. Well, later on in the race, some guy that really wanted to get further, I mean, like, look, past, like, what, 7th? We're all racing for the same money. This fool was hell-bent that he was going to finish 7th, and I was running 8th. And he just wipes and just wads the front end up, and so I have no clue, because you can't see it, but both of my tires are like this, because he's broke a ball joint, he's broke tie rod ends. The whole damn thing it's not going on the trailer, right? So I'm sitting there. My wife is trying to direct me on there. Other people are trying to direct me on there.
Like through headset or just like
No,
hand
visual.
signals? Okay.
To get on the trailer, because I don't know how cool your car is, but mine, if you cut it off after the race, you're going to have to wait till it cools back down for it to crank back up. Like, mine's
Sounds like a chainsaw I have.
it's just
Jesus. Don't let it turn off. Ah!
like you will never
Now we got to take a break.
you will never see. You're gonna when next time I win, there will be no burning rubber or anything like that. It'll just me cutting it off and the wrecker pushing me
Pushing
to
you
the
off,
deck.
yeah.
You know,
Thank you, guys.
just cut the thing off. But anyway, so I can't get up there. I get so mad because I'm already mad because I got run over
Right.
by two of the same. The guy owns two cars, and they're 100% of the time. Do you understand what?
Yeah.
Are you picking up what I'm throwing down here?
Seems to be a pattern.
A pattern.
Yeah.
A pattern, so to speak. Anyway, so I'm already pissed. I get out of the car, and all of a sudden I'm throwing my helmet, and there is a dent in that C, your post in the back where I've got my name, and I hit it as hard as I could, and I had that finger, and you just hear my wife go, "Hope that felt good on that finger." And then she goes and sits in the truck, which means my night's ruined anyway. I'm not
Right, yeah.
whether or not I got starting money, the game is over.
You got an hour and a half home.
Oh yeah,
No good.
The whole time she's like, "Oh, that car looked really good," except for that big dent where it
Big
never
dent
should have
inside
got
of it.
one. And then like that, I told her I was going to put a new body on it this year, just because I feel like this one's cursed. And
If you wouldn't put that dent in it, you wouldn't have to do that.
she
Please
goes,
tell me she brought that shit up.
no, she did.
It's
She
a good
goes-
wife to throw things up in your face months later.
She did this. She's like, "So, if you're going to put a sheet metal body, you're going to keep the dent that you put in there? Is that a reminder that you're an asshole?"
I got charged at Music Mountain Water. I punched one of the route trucks one time. We used to have a problem. We still do have a problem, or they still have a problem, where when you go to open the bay doors up on one of those side loading route trucks, the water bottles will fall out and the caps will touch the door, and when you go to open it up, it'll open up until it gets to the next lip, and then it stops. And I peeled a fingernail off. And man, I did that, and I was mad, and I punched the fucking door. Well, I put a perfect hand dent, like
In the door.
I could put my hand right there, and you're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what that is. When we turned those trucks in, I got charged like $195 to replace that thing because everybody knew what had happened. Everybody knew it was me.
Slightly sweet tea, thanks to Glenn.
You're welcome.
Slightly sweet tea. It's
Slightly.
unsweet tea that he put his dick in. That's what I said.
No, that is not. We're
Slight-
not
oh, that's
starting that
slightly
rumor.
that's slightly bitter
That
sweet
would have been.
tea.
That would have been. Like, is it? Cause see, I'm not.
Ah,
You did put a sprint car over the wall at Boot Hill, right? Was that you, or was that you
you
were
driving
there
it
that
or?
night?
No, I've never been over the wall at Boot Hill. I've been over the wall
Well,
at Manny.
At Manny.
You were there. I remember that. And I didn't like. My cousin knew him a lot longer than I have. Anyway, somebody had put it over, and me and Dad are driving the wrecker, and they're arguing about how to get this sprint car between the pit grandstand fence and the wall. And while they're arguing, Dad's just over there, and he's just tying the sprint car up, and he just ugly drags this sprint car over the wall. And the guy's screaming and cussing at us, and Dad, he's like, "You're going to fuck up my race car." And Dad goes, "I'm not the one that put it over the fucking wall." Like, he goes, "I can't fuck it up more than you just did. You just flipped it into a damn electric pole." And that's the thing, is like driving the wrecker, and that is probably what has turned me off to a lot of people in dirt track is, right, working that wrecker with my dad. How shitty people treat the wrecker driver.
You were meeting them at the worst
That's what I'm
possible
saying.
moment.
You show up at,
Yeah,
at a
no,
bad
I gotta
time.
play
Well,
devil's
see,
advocate
no,
for
no,
that.
no,
I gotta be middle of the road
So
here.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you how this goes. Every time that my dad hasn't run the wrecker and it's just me, I never had a problem. Never once. And I think I nipped it in the bud. There was a guy, he's a 21-star general in modified, thinks he is anyway.
It's a lot of
You like
stars.
how I'm dropping these names
Yeah,
for
yeah,
you?
I
I
got
just
it.
want you,
got
anybody
it.
that wanted, look, this is what you asked for.
Yeah,
This
I'm
is-
clueless.
This is all for Tyler Morgan's wife. She was like, "Glenn, you need to get a podcast." This is why this started, because one night she
Shout
heard
out
me-
to Tyler Morgan's wife,
Yeah, she was like,
Mrs. Morgan.
Is
Yeah.
he the 24?
He is the 24.
He ran in third last night.
Yeah, I know. I heard.
Congratulations.
Well, he got second
He got second?
because second got DQ'd.
Oh.
How do you get DQ'd in dirt track racing
Yeah,
where it sounds like anything fucking goes?
No, it's not true.
No, it's not true. The guy had
I did tell him
illegal
about
rods.
you getting disqualified multiple times
I
for
have.
that 10-door.
I was about to say there was a 10-door conspiracy
Yeah.
that I'm supposed to bring up, but I
Well,
guess we're here now.
The same guy that put me out for the 10-door got this guy for rods last night, and
For what?
he had illegal rods in connecting rods in his motor.
How the fuck do you know that?
Well, that's
You
part
gotta-
of the tech.
you gotta
and
look.
You gotta look, and we have a pretty thorough tech guy.
So they come out and they
Shout
act.
out to him for one reason.
Shout
Because
out.
if anybody would know how to cheat, it's him.
Exactly. And it's-
So whoa, do they actually go in and open your motor up?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it like they're so good at hearing the sound of it?
No.
He's got a camera
Yeah.
that he sticks into the oil pan and look. He can look around anything he wants to.
No fucking shit.
And a lot of the the
You-
10,000 races they do take them apart.
Well, and look, this is me as somebody that's not into this
Well,
at
that's
all.
why we're doing
yeah,
this,
and
is
you
so
look
can
like
learn.
you think about something like that, and I know, as fucked up as this is going to sound to two racers that are clearly friends and bigger than me,
And nonviolent.
and
Let's clear
nonviolent.
that up.
Hopefully, we're
Teddy
about to
bears.
find out. Like to me, it's one of those things where like dirt racing and stuff is typically white trashy, and
Yeah,
I'm throwing air quotes.
No.
Would never think that they would give a fuck about what
Oh,
you're
no.
running.
I'm going to tell you right now. If you the thing about dirt track, it is misconceived as a dumb redneck sport. But the thing is, there is so much science behind getting.
Well,
a race
it sounds
started.
like it's legit racing,
Well, no, it is.
but it's just for country folks.
and no, it's not just for country folks.
Well, but you know what I mean. It's not NASCAR big. Because have you ever been to a NASCAR
Do you
event?
know?
Yeah.
Do you honest to know? And I don't even have to fact check this. Do you know how much of a $1 billion industry dirt track racing is? 16
16.
billion.
It's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot of money in dirt track.
Yeah, and I guess because of the nature of the cars, the way they look, they're put together crudely.
Some of them.
From the outside looking in.
Now look, you are going to have some that are put together with bubble gum and duct tape.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Probably one that I drive because you just said I got DQ'd for literally a 10-door.
A 10-door. Now, okay,
I
so
love that though. Don't get that. I was like, and I was sitting there telling Steve, I'm like, what in the what?
what, is it because it's light?
Because it's not aluminum or
Not a-
steel.
yeah.
So
And
is it the safety issue, or it's
No.
just
the real deal
somebody
is
doesn't like the fact that they can't stick a magnet to it?
No, the deal is if you don't have a stock appearing body in a factory stock car, if you run aluminum body, anything other than a stock body, steel body, you have to run 50 pounds in front of your motor, extra weight, just because of the lightness of the body. Well, I didn't have a stock appearing body. Everything on my car was stock except that door,
Except the door.
and
Let's clear that
I
up.
didn't have the 50 pounds. So I guess literally I didn't get DQ'd for the 10 door. I got DQ'd because I didn't have 50 pounds up front. But
You did not change.
You had
that
to
door
have
for
50
weeks.
pounds because of the door.
I had to have 50 pounds because of the door.
That's
and
fucking
you know,
cheap,
I
man.
didn't. I really didn't think that
It was that big a
it
deal.
was that big a deal because my whole body was stock except for the door. And if I would have showed up without a door, then I would have been all right.
And I can vouch.
Can you
for
race
the-
without a door?
Well,
If you're racing, if the door falls off while you're
while
racing.
going, you can't show it without a hood
Okay.
because we got DQ'd for that this year.
Yeah. Oh, did you?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you right now, and I can vouch for the fact that Cody's car was plenty heavy
Oh,
without
Yes,
the
yes,
50 pounds.
yeah.
Will y'all race in the rain, like pouring down rain?
No.
Even though it's dirt and muddy,
It's so
you still
slick
don't?
you wouldn't be able to.
You
And we
can't.
run slick. Though the factory stocks run slick tires. So
Oh, okay, I didn't. Okay,
they have no.
I need to come to
treads.
one.
Yeah.
You should.
I need to. Yeah, I'll have
It's
to.
exciting.
I've been to one. I was 20.
I will say it's a lot more fun
21?
if you have somebody to
Right.
root for.
Yeah,
you
if
know?
you know someone.
I had somebody to root for. 7-Up car.
Oh, was
Oh,
it?
well, there you go.
I got a funny story about him. I don't know if I should tell it though.
You should. That's what we're here for.
Okay, so
Just go ahead.
yeah,
This is
yeah, fuck it. So
we could just change the name of it to Slinging.
yeah, slinging shit.
Slinging shit.
Yeah, welcome back to episode of next episode of Slinging Shit. We're going to talk about the Obamas. Anyway,
Michelle Obama has man arms. I'm going to say
I
that.
had a woman tell me that Michelle Obama's a man, and I'm like, ma'am, I'm just here to deliver water. I don't know what the fuck is
Like,
going
I'm not
on.
even here.
Like this was completely unprovoked. Like I set the water down. She comes out and was like, Michelle Obama's a man. And I'm like, what? And she was like, yeah, I just saw a video where they showed her dick on Ellen. And I'm like, what are you watching? Like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this.
When I was installing cable, there was this.
Who'd you work for?
Comcast.
Okay.
Shout out Comcast. Anyway,
It's Xfinity now. Get
whatever,
it right?
whatever.
No, it is Comcast. My dad worked for them for 27 years.
I pulled up to this lady's house, and this woman was every bit of 1,050.
Years or pounds?
Old.
Okay.
Old. This woman answers the door in a house robe, a whole house coat. And I said, I'm here to install your cable. And then she dropped something, and the house coat opens up, and she's like, "Oh no!" And I mean, it looked like a rotisserie hen.
Turned to stone.
I was, and you just see me like, "Oh, I'm canceling this job," like, because I knew this was gonna be. It was just gonna be this old lady was gonna try to get me to crop dust her in the worst way.
Well, I'll tell you this story, and then jump back over to the other story that I was going to tell you. When I was delivering water, I had this guy answer the door. He was an Arabian guy who is a doctor in town. He was on billboards. All right, I know that doesn't narrow it down, but this motherfucker answers the door, and he is wearing this leopard skin banana hammock, and he's got this thin, flowing, like floral silk robe on. And if I could stand up with a microphone and it not do anything, he goes, "Bring the water inside." And I'm saying, no, we got to leave it outside. We're not allowed to come inside. No. Empty's in here. You bring water in. And the whole time he's like thrusting at me, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not allowed to come inside people's houses. I got to leave this out here. And the whole time he's trying to get me to bring the water inside, young man. It's okay. You bring it, put it right here. You get these empties. I said, no, you set them empties outside, or I'm not getting them. And I ended up leaving, charging him for his empty bottles because he wouldn't hand them to me, and I was not bringing that water inside. It was not fucking happening.
You would have. He would have been bringing something.
Oh, he would have been trying to fuck. So, and that was back when I looked good too. So I'd have fucked the shit out of that guy. I mean, I had. Anyway, so I told you about the Roys that I knew, right? So Dave and Rob Roy. So
the gentleman.
The gentleman.
I don't understand how he got that nickname either.
I don't either.
I don't know him, so.
So Daddy Roy.
Just like, I don't know if him and Dad had magnets in the car.
They stayed together.
They stayed together.
You talking about them two?
You know, like it was okay. So we were joking. There's a guy out there that races in factory stock right now, and he is 5 times wonderful. Okay, I'm gonna keep speaking to code because anybody that watches dirt tracks is gonna know exactly this dude.
That's why I gave him the stand.
Are you ready? So look, here's how.
Because I knew this is how this is probably gonna go. Yeah, no, this is all good.
It's just gonna be code.
I understand. I'm gonna be poking at the Bears every now and then. Is all I'm doing.
Well, the thing is I am talking mad shit right now, and I know it. Sweetest guy on the planet. You can if you needed him to take somebody out on purpose, couldn't do it. Okay, but accidentally he could fuck up a wet dream faster. I mean, this guy goes in there and he's like, I can't stand, like, if Cody were to hit me, just knock the shit out of me. Okay, and then after the race. He's honest about it. I'm not mad at him anymore because he's honest. Travis Bowden did that. I started 26 at Boot Hill because they were competing with Arclotex that night, and they said, we're going to start all the cars. Glenn, are you okay with 26? I'm like, hell yeah. I'm passing Travis for 7th. I was moving, son. I was excited. Dad's that old rusty car was getting it. I get by him, and Travis just smokes me. I'm talking about, and you know who had followed me back? Doug Vick has followed me the entire time. When he does it, I catch Doug. I catch everybody. After the race, I walk up to Travis, and I'm like, what the hell was that? And he's like, yeah, I just ran over you. He goes, I got mad because you passed me, and I went in there and just drove way over my head. He's like, I just fucked you, bro. And like... And I was like,
thank you for your honesty.
What can I say?
I said, well, I guess
I can't call you an asshole.
I guess I'm going to go load my shit. And
You want to help me push this thing on the trailer?
My wife looks at me.
I already turned it off.
My wife looks at me and goes, what are you getting soft? And I'm like, I can't get mad at him. Most of the time you get to hear, my brakes went out.
Oh, it's always
Oh, man, see what happened was.
I went out there.
Well, it's kind of like the boy named Sue when he met his dad right there. I mean,
yeah.
You had to call him a paw and buy him a beer.
Yeah, like, but I mean, like, the God's honest truth is, like, look, the thing is, if you drive next to me, Cody knows this. If you drive, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what is wrong with my car while we're lined up together. And I'll be like, this means I ain't got no brakes. Yeah. So go ahead and understand, I'm about to enter this corner wild. And whenever you pass me, because I have a feeling that's about to happen, I'm still going to enter it wild because I really want to finish in the top 3. But and I am a little physically aggressive. You are too.
Yeah.
And I like it. I mean,
you got to be in that class.
But I have fun with it. Like, My dad got mad. He got mad the last time me and you actually raced together because we were rubbing on one. He was like, "Why was Cody rubbing on you?" And I'm like, well,
Because rubbing is racing, Dad. Hadn't you ever seen Days of Thunder?
Well, no, yeah, but rubbing is racing if you know what you're doing. Me and him can do it for 20 fucking laps.
Yeah, because y'all are used to rubbing against each other.
You know it. You know it.
I mean, I call it like I see it.
It's biceps.
That's what he said.
Biceps.
Biceps.
Biceps. Sorry,
No,
I got something. I got an ear infection or something going on.
But I'm saying, but there are other people that they're not worth it. It's not fun.
All right, so let me get this out because I think you'll enjoy this story.
Will Cody enjoy it?
I think so. If you know Rob Roy.
He doesn't. He knows of him.
I know if you know of him. 7-Up. So he asked me to. He owned this building over in Bossier. Do you know what building I'm talking about?
Yeah, I was over there when I was a kid. Yep.
Okay, so he owned this building over in Bossier, and he was about to rent it out to somebody, but he had to replace all the ceiling tiles in the building. So he asked me. He was like, because I did telephone work back then.
Yeah.
I know how to play with ceiling tiles. They're not hard to fuck with, but he asked me if I would help him. So I'm like, fucking hey. He's like, I'll pay you. I'm like, sure. So I get over there, and he's got this scaffolding, right? It's a scaffolding on wheels.
Yeah.
You just move it around, do it. Right. Well, it's taken me a while because I have to, it's a big scaffolding, so I can do a pretty good area, and then I got to get down and move it. Well, he's there in the building, but he is, the nice way to put that is inebriated and asleep over in his car. All right?
Okay.
So
I've been known to drink a beer or two.
yeah, no, I ain't judging him. He hired me to work. He doesn't have to work. That's what he's paying me for. I'm not sweating. That ain't why I'm saying this. So he's like, wait a minute, is this all you got? It's like 2:00 in the morning at this point. He's like, this is all you got done? I'm like, yeah, I got to do fucking 25 tiles and then move and do 25 more tiles and then move and do 25 more tiles. And I was like, I'll come back tomorrow and finish it. And he was like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. So I was working. This was in the evenings. I would show up at like 7 or 8, and start working. And he usually had a pretty good buzz going. Well, the next day, he's like, I remedied our problem, and I got us. And he had driven his van in there and zip-tied the van to this scaffolding. And I had to he put a bunch of empty beer cans up on the thing, and I'd have to throw a beer can out his window and tell him, hey, move this motherfucker. And he'd wake up and fucking drive in that building, drive and fucking maneuver me over, and I'd finish these ceiling fucking tiles, dude. That was my experience with him. I got us covered, and I walk in, he's got 2 of those big air conditioner ductwork zip ties, those big black ones, and he's got the scaffolding zip tied to the bumper of his
and he poured in a storm.
Dodge van.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Works.
Hey, we're getting it done,
Yeah.
so fuck it, who cares?
Yeah. Well,
I'm taking another bite of my sandwich.
The fact is pretty much in any race car, most of the time, if somebody hits you, then it's not going to be on purpose. I mean, it could be
That was a ghost for anybody who didn't know.
It could be from ignorance, but and maybe that's why you would get mad. But I don't think they maliciously trying to run over someone at any point.
The thing is, when I'm not racing, I get to watch, and there are some people, and I'm not afraid to tell them that guys, look, first of all, when you go in, I understand we don't want to lose any momentum. I get that. That is the new name of the game in factory stock. But I don't need a colonoscopy every time we go in the corner. And that's the part, whenever you're, I have a stock bumper on my car. When you're knocking that son of a bitch off, we have a problem.
Right.
And the thing is, I was talking to Tony and Garen about it. And those are my cousins for anybody that's listening. I know what the difference was. And it really, I really got it figured out to where, some of it is just we don't race like that. We weren't raised to race like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm 34, and my dad will still crawl my ass if I go out there and just decide to drive like an idiot. And I think that's, you have a lot of young guys out there who their dads just are not on that ass.
Right.
Or they don't have somebody that's telling them, look, you're acting an idiot.
Right.
And
at the last race at Boot Hill, I got hit so many times during the race that it knocked the radiator out of the car.
Right.
So, there's just no sense in that. I mean, you're going to bump. Those cars, they don't stop good. They don't go good. They don't steer good. So, things are going to happen if you're really racing hard and trying to win. But, if you make a pattern out of one guy doing it constantly, then
constantly.
you know there's a problem.
Well, that's where me and Zach Clark get into it, because it's like, first of all, and I'll say this because I know he's going to watch, not every time an asshole goes way deep in the corner is that a slide job. Let's cover that real quick. Slide job requires two things. One, you clear the guy.
Right.
Okay? If I have to slow down and shut my shit down all the way, that's not a slide job. That's an asshole move.
That's a failed.
That's, you know, and like my favorite quote that I had was one night. The last race I won was 2013, and I love Zach to death, but he brings it up like let it go, you know, like it's like me and Derek Daniels were talking, and he's like, every time he talks about Derek's like 2007's track champion at Arklatex, and Derek's like, let it go, like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. And then you get my dad, and he's like, well, I was the 2001. Nobody ever mentions that. And I'm like, it's 20 fucking years ago.
What you do have to say, though, when Zach's on the mic, it does make the show a lot better.
Oh, no. And the thing is, I like the fact, you know, the triple wide trailer and all that
yeah,
crap.
it's all cool.
Funny. It's
It
funny.
is. It's good stuff.
And he's really good at what he does. But he tries to get me to get in there, but I'm not the guy.
Nah.
Because I would literally be up in there and be like, oh, look who lost their talent in turn one.
Yeah.
You know, like...
Yeah.
Or I'm a biased opinion, and that's the thing. And I enjoy a good race. My wife laughs at me because I won't root for Justin in factory stock, but I'll root for Justin in anything else he gets in.
Right.
And a lot of it's just, it's not fun to watch him race it, because it's like he's just going out and getting groceries, and he is and he is a scientist.
Yeah.
And that's what he is. He is literally, he has gotten that thing down, but at the same time, let's give him credit. Anytime a track is open, he's there.
Yep, he is.
And
And you hear people say, well, he's doing something here. But, you know, either way, if he is, he's still winning.
Right.
He's outsmarting the people that could be catching him if he was doing that. So he's still winning races. He's still doing his job.
He's still winning races, and I swear on everything, he has to be the most teched car in factory stock.
Well, because he's
Hands
always
down.
there. Yep.
Hands down.
Every time. Yeah.
And so what are you going to do? I mean, Steve, I haven't been in the top 5 in a good minute, but I mean, Steve Bogus does not even let my car get off of the trailer without teching it, because he knows that I play in that damn gray area.
Right. And that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not trying,
right.
you know, and I mean, it's, oh man. But I mean, like, because I remember Whitehead's dad came up to me. He's like, do you hate my son? I don't hate anybody. You know, the thing is do I think he's a talent? Yes. He can drive, you know, but do I think that he's just, you can't argue with his record right now.
No,
I mean, like, but the sad thing is I remember when Wes Grigsby was killing it, and you know, Dean Rasco, I mean, you just, like, back in the street stock days, and I hate to tell him, they have pushed the class so far where it was his show. And like you said, there's 60 cars now showing up that are they're gunning for one guy.
That's it.
And
he's so good that they can't get him.
They can't get him.
But
you know what really bothers me, and I like it and I appreciate and respect this out of you, is me and you are really similar in the sense that we're not, if we see him, we're not, well, I guess we're not winning tonight. Anybody can lose.
Anybody.
You know?
The first night that I went to Arklatex in the factory stock that I had got, I guess it was 2016 maybe, we won the heat race, and I was used to the sprint car deal, you know, and I didn't go to tech. So I had to start in the back. And I think there was 22 or 3, whatever cars there. And the guy that was there helping me, I told him, I said, man, you know, I'm just going to go out, try to feel the car out, figure out what's going on here, and try to learn about the car, because we're so far in the back. Well, I go in the first turn, and I just went to the bottom, you know, because everybody went to the top. Mm-hmm. And you made 3 or 4 laps, and I looked, and I'm in the top 10. And then made a few more laps, and I'm in the top 5. I'm like, man, you know, maybe we can start racing here. And it wasn't long. I was leading. I drove from dead last and passed Justin. And I should have moved up.
Right.
But, you know, I come from dead last on the bottom and took the lead, so I thought I was in the right spot.
Yeah.
He got back by me. But, you know, it can happen. It can be done. It was my mistake. The car was good enough to beat him at night. Yeah. But I just made a mistake and didn't. So he can be beat. It's just we're not doing it.
Well, and I think it's because they're really, I'm talking about these guys. There are guys in factory stock right now, and I'm sorry, whenever I see like the little banners that are don't look at my And they're all covering up their suspension.
It's all stock.
like, you got springs under there too. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
Or when they
Was there an axle down there?
I
What
like-
you got?
I like
Drive
when they
shaft?
wrap their tires and stuff. I'm like,
Uh-oh.
wow.
Technical
They were-
difficulties.
yeah.
I got
But
Oh God. Jesus. Damn
But,
amateur hour.
you
Go
know-
around the back. Don't walk in front of the camera. Why is it? What a vicious little animal.
yeah, he's mean.
And it's okay. People know
I
you
don't know.
exist.
It's,
It's better than them seeing that ghost walk across the camera. Fair enough.
Hey, man. Family's family.
Yeah, he's really good, and you know I think a lot of people's, like you say, when he shows up, they're beat already, morally, so their morale goes down.
But
So
They must be married.
You know what? I don't know what kind of luck you get, but like I don't. And when I talk about me being a legend, there's a reason I joke about that.
Oh, you're joking? Because I've always taken it as you being serious. Because you're always like, no, Johnny,
Hey.
I am a legend.
there's a slight bit of seriousness to every joke.
Right, that's true. Many a true word is said in jest. But the main reason is I don't give a shit where I line up or what number I draw. I'm always in the stacked heat race with the fastest cars. And it's like, I never get that one junk heat race that's just the car fillers where it's like, oh, this is the one chance Glenn could really look like he knew what he was doing. No, I've got to go out there with like Rollo Pilkington. And like I went to Arklatex for the Factory 50 this year? Yeah. Go out there and I've got Hennigan, I've got Younce, I've got Rollo, Whitehead, Sean Graham, and it's like it's just 8 cars. We're any one of them.
Could win the feature.
And they're gonna go, oh, we're gonna take the top 2. And I'm like,
You got 4 laps to get there.
How many y'all do? That's what I was going to ask.
8.
Is how many laps y'all
Got
typically
8 lap
run?
8 lap heat races. and
How big of a track is this?
it's quarter mile.
It's a quarter mile,
Unless you're on the outside,
way out.
and then it's a
Way
little more than a quarter mile.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
No, I always I felt like, just like you, when I'm racing any other class other than sprint car, I feel that way. I feel like I'm always in the stacked race. But, you know, like we said earlier, there's 60 cars, so you got a real good chance of being in a stacked race because there's so many good cars.
I prefer being in the stacked
Yeah.
ones because it's like at least I'm in a room full of people that know what the hell
Right,
they do.
exactly.
Well, I hear y'all talking about 60 cars too. Is that like 60 on a track at one time, or
No,
do y'all run
no.
I
6
wish.
different races
We
with
would-
10 cars?
We would do
Yeah,
great in that
yeah.
race.
Well, but it's like 6 different races, 10 cars, and y'all keep narrowing down top 2,
Right.
top 2, and then you get a final 8
So-
or 6, whatever.
So
you
you
have
get-
your heat races, and then you'll have C main and B main, and you take however many from C main to get to go to the back of the B, then however many make it out of the B get to tag on the back of the A main, and the A main is the one that pays the money.
And one race, what are you looking at in time to complete 8 laps?
Well, that's all depends on the
Yeah.
talent on the
Well,
racer.
but you and I can respect that, but like a typical
It can be from 5 minutes to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
You know,
5 to 45 minutes.
yeah, like, well, I mean, like, what
most
was
heat races are pretty
Pretty-
quick.
yeah.
But
If I come to
features go.
if I come to the track this Friday and watch y'all, I would show up at what time and I'd leave at what time,
They start about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they don't get out until they're done.
Yep.
which could be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. 3.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Did you ever run that late?
I don't know. The worst one that I've ever done was a champion. We got on the track when the sun
Sun
was
was
coming
coming
up.
up. Yep.
Yeah, that
Uh-huh.
was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I told
I've heard
My-
of
my
Champion.
favorite
Where's that
track,
one
by
at?
the way.
That's the one
yeah,
towards
no,
Menden.
hands down.
Is that the one
Hands
towards
down.
Menden?
Not
Yes.
anymore.
It's not there
We
anymore.
got a house in there.
But that's okay. That's where that one was. That's the one That's one of the ones I've been to.
Did you ever get to race on Battleground?
I never did.
I'm
no.
not Battleground. Bayou.
Yeah, that's my very first
Oh,
race at a big
Excuse
track was at Bayou in the
Bayou.
mini sprint.
Dad goes over there whenever they were doing street stocks. Well, he had the Camaro body and all this, the jig car, and and that's a type of car built on a jig.
I was just about to call you a racist.
No, yeah.
Let me
We
clear
gotta
that-
we gotta clarify that right now.
Yeah, it's-
You know, it's nothing to
It's a
us,
jig
but
car.
somebody somewhere.
Somewhere.
It's
yeah.
a jig car, and I'm looking for a woman. What would that make it?
I don't know.
A jigaboo? We'll have to edit that in post.
See, that is where we were trying to not go.
I know where you were trying not to go, but somebody had to go
So
there.
they made Dad. He was running on radials, and they made him race with the limited
late model,
little
yeah.
limit. And Dad goes from the back to winning, and they throw a caution. They send him to the back. He does it 3 times in a row. Okay,
Why were they sending him to the back?
because he didn't race there. Like because there's no reason why a street stock should have been out running a limited late model
Right.
on radials when they're running late model tires. They go to the tech area, and the tech guy looks at Dad and goes, "Did you win on those tires?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Go put it on the trailer. You won." Like,
That's funny.
He was done.
Yeah.
Who cares?
The first time he got put to the back, a guy hit him in the ass and spun out, and they put him to the back. Like, I mean, it's dirt track shit. And that's another thing. They're getting mad at the flagman and stuff. I think that every flagman honestly needs a spotter.
Right.
Because it's really hard to watch 20 cars.
Yes.
And
And you're not going to please everybody,
No,
because
you're
even
not.
if you make the right call and somebody, it's just constant bickering. And we live in a entitlement society, so everybody thinks that everything should go their way. And
Yeah, I mean, look at the whole New Orleans Saints thing last year
yeah,
with that missed call at that playoff game. Everybody thinks it should go their way.
well,
I mean, look, I saw it. It was a missed call, but,
sometimes things should go your way, but it doesn't always happen that way, and you have to think back to when
it did go your way when
and
it
it
wasn't
shouldn't
that way.
have, right?
Yeah,
So,
when-
do you remember when you know that Chase Lawler guy?
Yeah.
Well, he was announcing one night at Boot Hill, and so when I came around the corner, and it was that night I was telling you about Whitehead. When I came out of the corner, we came out 3 wide. It's Doug, Vic, me, and Sean Graham. Sean makes the decision not to cake plant the wall, which is what any one of us would have done. And he comes down, and we hit tire to tire, and it knocked me across the front of Doug's car and spun me into the infield. That's not Doug's fault.
right.
That's not Sean's fault. It's a racing incident. Well, Chase is on there, and I'm not bad-mouthing him, but I did talk to him about it. He's like, yeah, he had a little contact with Doug Vick. I don't know if there was anything aggressive about it. I'm like, no. Like,
Right.
that's the thing. I'm not mad about it.
Right.
I mean, that is dirt track. And normally when you decide that you're going to be the bastard in a 3-wide pie, like, you're about to,
yeah.
somebody's about to eat shit.
Right.
And I mean, but me and Tony were talking about it. I guess I have the most fun just diving through, going 3 wide, and just scaring the shit out of myself.
I was saying earlier, like with the the stacked heat races, I guess the sprint car is where I feel most at home, and it's what I like the best. And maybe I put more time into it
Yeah.
as far as the sprint car goes, because that's what I really enjoyed. Sometimes I felt like I got some good races, some good draws and some easy races in the sprint car deal, but and we didn't have 60 cars that was able to win a race there
Right.
every night either. You had
When in the sprint car, is it because of like how you're in there that you like it, or are you more comfortable?
I don't know, maybe because I started in a mini sprint, and it's kind of it's
like home.
It's definitely different, but it just feels it feels like home, and people are like, oh, too many people getting hurt, and they're too dangerous and this and that. But
Well,
that's fine. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But don't. That's what that's why we like it, because there's a danger factor.
Right, and that's the thing that whenever somebody tells me that it's not a sport or some shit like that, and they're like, that's not dangerous. No, it's a very real. But
you never want to see anybody get hurt. That's
No.
not what I'm saying at all. I mean, and it's the sprint car, it happens a lot more than anything else, just because of
Love
speed.
watching people get hurt. Sorry.
yeah, we know.
Yeah,
And,
we had a whole conversation about it. Sorry.
Don't worry, we'll one day me and you'll watch just sprint
Oh,
car
I'll-
wrecks, and you'll.
Oh, man, I'll love it. I'll love every
Yeah.
second of it.
But in the last few years, we've had some guys get killed, and some friends get mangled up, and you never want to see that happen. But we're working on a 70s style chassis that really hadn't been changed, and they were running 90 and 100 miles an hour then, and now they're running 140 and 50. So
On
you
a
know,
dirt track, quarter mile.
yeah. So a lot of things.
Man, that's hauling ass.
and they've made some changes to those cars, but the fact of it is, a sprint car is going to be dangerous, and you're going to get hurt in them. Your chances are better to get hurt in them more than anything else because of the size of it and
Yeah.
the speed. So, there's always going to be one class that is more dangerous than the others, and some people are going to want to do it, and some aren't. and
Well,
that's-
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been hurt a few times in the factory stock.
Right.
I mean, one night there was a bounty on my head, which was cool, by the way, and it was a Champion, and it was because I was driving that damn land yacht, like you told me, And they said, look, $500 to anybody that can take Glenn out. And I was like, why don't, look, we're racing for $100. Y'all can pay me $500 and I'll put it on the fucking trailer.
Yeah.
Take yourself out.
We'll get the
yeah.
fuck out of here.
And I'll be done. Like, don't even play
I remember
with me.
you remember what was it, Birdman or
Yeah.
something? Man, that was
man.
the
Then
car.
it-
The car
now it-
looked like it had been in a train crash before he showed up.
Man, he would change the tires to put it on the trailer. Like, he had to, but like this dude, when I tell you this guy was nuts, so you'd be lined up next to him. And granted, I'm not going to talk too positive about him because, he's a jailbird now.
Is he really?
Yeah, for diddling children.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Forget that dude. Then I'm sad I even said that he did something cool.
Yeah, no. Well, I thought everybody knew, but what
I didn't.
like but he would do this wild shit. Like he'd get his fishing lure together while he's racing, and let go of his steering wheel, and he'd be like telling you he's reeling them in, and he'd let go of the wheel, and
he
he'd
would
be
be
flapping his arm.
This dude was high on cocaine racing cars.
No, he's fucking weird.
On Molly, got some ecstasy in his system.
He might have been.
I've driven on ecstasy before, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't think I'd want a dirt track race on ecstasy.
Sounds like he might have been high on Infamil.
Infamil.
Oh, that's just I'll step away for a second.
I'm not even. Infamil that's baby food. Yeah. It's been so long. So we can get away. Because I'm not as fluent with racing as you two are. I'll talk about something else. So you said are you from Mansfield? Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Mansfield. Actually Stanley, but Mansfield's the nearest town. So I went to school at Stanley, graduated Stanley.
So and you race every weekend.
No, we don't race every weekend. I race when we can, and I just bought a crate late model, which is a series that we're trying to get going around here, and a few people is buying them, and just whenever we have a race, normally 2 times a month or something like that.
Now, on your typical car, what kind of motor are you running? Like, what size motor is it? Like the one?
These crate late models have a 355 or 350, 355. It's a sealed crate motor that you buy, 400 horsepower motors.
And you can't modify it and change it. It's got to be.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty much. You can small tweaks. Like your valve springs and different stuff. But to be legal, then no, you can't change much from where they come from, how they're built from the factory or whoever built them.
So in 30 years of racing, with what you've been doing, what's been the biggest change that you've seen? Safety, just the tracks, the presence of it. Like, what's been the biggest change since you started that you've seen? I guess positive and negative.
Well, the biggest change that I've seen, and in my opinion, it's negative change, is what we've already talked about. It's just
Sorry, I'm having you repeat.
No, just the lack of people knowing how to work on their own stuff, and it just causes a lack of respect for not only other drivers, but it seems like it causes a lack of respect for the fans. I mean, they have to realize that we're not race car drivers, we're entertainers. Even though we're not big time, and not everybody knows our name, and we go out.
Not everybody knows their name.
Yeah,
nobody's going to ask for an autograph and stuff like that. But we're there, and
people
we
ask
put
for
on
my
a
autograph all the time. I just want to clear that up.
but you're a legend. We've all established that.
No, but he said we're entertainers.
We're there to put on a
I've
show
never
for the
thought of
fans.
it like that, but that does make perfect sense that you would be.
We're there. 'cause
It is entertainment.
People pay a fee to come.
What does it cost to get in?
$10.
$10.
$10 or
They pay
$12.
$10. So if you got a family,
10 pre-order, 12 at the gates. Come on down and see
No,
us.
like it's different tracks. Like
Right,
at
yeah.
Showtime,
Yeah, it could be
it's
different.
10, 12.
if you got a family that comes, they spend $50 or $60 to come and watch you put on a show, and
Yeah.
they expect you to do that. And it should be in my opinion, it should be a respectable show. And whether you're running for first or last, I think you should make them remember you one way or another, not by creaming somebody, but
winning.
Put on a good show.
Yeah.
Put on a good race, make it exciting for them, make them want to come back. Because without
Now,
them,
would
we
you
don't get to race.
ever like, for lack of a better term, like blow a lead to make a race more interesting for the fans?
No.
Definitely
No,
not.
okay.
Never,
I wasn't
never.
sure if you were that
No.
much of a
No,
showman.
No.
No,
Where
I
like
promise.
if you two were first and second, y'all pass each other back and forth.
If me and him are running first and second, I promise you don't have to worry about one of us backing out of the
Oh,
lead.
you saw that? I saw that video you showed me the other day.
No,
I didn't get to watch all of it.
I
but,
promise you, me and
and that
they're-
was
they're gonna
was that
be-
you two racing each other?
No, that was me and a guy named Robbie Hickman.
Okay, I thought you for some reason I thought you said it was him.
No, I'm normally not around him. He's got a lot.
He's way back there.
No, he's way up there. I'm way back there. No, but like he's talking about, like I had a guy, this kid, cracked me up. So I'm at Arclitex watching because, you know how money works.
Right.
Is Arclitex the one that's north up?
That's in Vivian.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the name of that one?
Arclitex.
That's the name of it. Is Arclitex?
Yeah.
What's the street that it's on? Because it's got a very.
It's on Boyer Lane.
There's another. Is there another like? I know it's not drag strip, but like.
Oh, you're talking about
Talking about Gillum.
Gillum.
Yeah.
What is that?
That's a drag strip.
But is it on like
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road.
Yeah.
There it is.
Right.
I used to drive past that thing all the time when I worked for the water company.
This kid comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, Big Sexy," and I'm like, "What's up, kid?" Like, like Mean Joe Green. And the kid's like, "I just want you to know you're my favorite race car driver, and I hate Whitehead." And I'm like, "Well, don't hate anybody."
Right.
You
Oh
know?
man, you're supposed to be like, "Yes, kid, that's right. Feel
No,
the hate.
and so
Let it soak into you."
So we get to talking, and this kid, he's just a cool kid, right? And you don't realize that they're watching you. And I don't know this kid, but he made a point to come up to me. So like the next weekend, I messaged his dad because I knew he had told me his birthday was the next weekend, and it was the night they were doing monster trucks at Boot Hill.
Right.
And it was his birthday weekend, and they said, "Look, we can't." He said this kid is all about racing. Okay, right now he's all about football, but whatever. But at the time, and he wanted he didn't want a birthday party. He wanted to come out to the racetrack. So his parents couldn't afford to throw him the birthday party they wanted to because they had to pay extra to get in for the monster truck show. So I told him, "Don't worry about it." And I come, and I've got like birthday cake and streamers and like a big old giant autographed picture of my car. And I sang to him, "Happy birthday." Got the whole crowd in on it.
But that kid hadn't had a birthday party since. Like,
No.
no, I'm not doing this shit again, Mom. You saw what happened last time.
No, that kid like literally, like this is, I think he turned 8. His name is Sean, but this kid had tears in his eyes, so grateful that somebody,
That's awesome.
and
Good
his
job.
dad's just sitting there, and I'm walking away, and that's when Zach Clark goes, "You know what, Glenn? That's why, that's what we're all supposed to be out
Right.
there doing is,
Right.
because some of the, like when I was a kid, I've been watching him since my dad's been racing for 30 years, but dirt cars. He never raced a 4-wheeler legally. We did get kicked off the track one night for racing 4-wheelers, but that's beside the point. But like when I was a kid, these guys, like stock car drivers, were heroes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they could flip and catch on fire, and they
Yeah.
get out unscathed.
No
and-
problem. Yeah.
Yeah, and like, man, that tumble that Ricky took this
Oh, yeah.
year, and he just walks away,
I
goes
hit it.
and gets in his other
I
car.
run right into the bottom of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
How'd that feel?
Well, I thought, in my mind, I was like, man, I hit him right under the seat. So it kind of, it scared me a little bit because I felt like I hit him real hard right at the bottom of the car. And then, when he was okay.
Was he flipped over on his side when you hit him?
No,
he was flipping, and I came in and had nowhere to go. So, I'm on the brakes, but I hit the bottom of his car pretty hard. And there's not a lot of protection under the car, so, it's not a common point to get hit. So, and
When
it
he
kind of
hit
worried me.
this monster truck tire that they have set on the side rolled over him after his car was like landed on his roof. And Ricky's like, what, 61,
Yeah,
60,
something
something
like
like
that,
it. My point is, he gets out of this car, and this badass, I'm going to call him a badass old codger right now. That badass old codger jumps right off the track and goes and gets in his limited and puts on a hell of a
Yeah,
show.
He did that.
Like, and I have seen some crazy shit. Like, one time Billy Temple went in there and he cartwheeled a car at Champion and his arm flew out and he broke his damn arm, and then they made us like duct tape a damn wrench to his arm because he was in the points, and he,
Right.
by God, no, I'm not going to the hospital until I win these points. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a
they're just-
professional football player that cut his pinky off one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I had the ability to look it up, I'd look it up and find his name. But he was in the middle of like a playoff game or something, and his pinky was severely broken. And they were like, "Yeah, you're gonna have to have surgery." And he was like, "No, I'm not. Cut this fucking thing off." They cut his fucking finger off, and he went back out and finished playing.
See, I think too that like he was raised up around racing, and his family races. Dad
All of them.
I'm not that way. My dad never raced. Nobody in my family raced. I'm the only one that races or race cars. So maybe I see it from a different aspect because he was there.
Yeah.
His dad. I'm part of this, and for a long time I wasn't part of it. I was just a fan.
Right.
And so I saw how we looked up to the people. I'm like, they were larger than life. When you're a kid, you're 8 years old, and they're out there racing. You're like, oh man. It's almost like they were heroes.
that
For our little kids.
Chill bump.
Yeah. No,
And, so
it's-
I get to see it from a different point of view where I think if my dad or you still look up to him, no doubt. But if you're a part of it, you feel different. If you're on the outside, you're like, man, I'd just like to get in a car and ride around while they're packing a track. That's what I want to do, and then to make it where kids see you and look up to you, That's kind of why.
yeah, it's got to be awesome.
It's why I said earlier, when you throw a fit, afterwards you kind of feel bad about it because, you got kids looking up to you and
Right.
you're down there screaming and cussing and hollering and you know,
Carrying on.
Well, but it's all
that's
part. It's all part of life.
That's part of it.
People have to
and
see the good and the bad
that's
to
right.
respect it.
That's right. But you know, you
Be
want to keep
thankful.
that to a minimum.
Be thankful you didn't have to race with your dad. Because let me go ahead and explain this. I have wanted to race against my dad since I was a kid, right? And in my dad is a hero. And my dad, back in the day, my dad was pretty legit. He wasn't winning races all the time, but he was always that top 3, top 4 contender. You didn't want to fuck up in front of him because he
Right.
will take the lead, you know? And so we're sitting there, and I remember I got to race with him one time before he decided that factory stock, they were just too disrespectful for his old ass. That's exactly what he said. He said I can't do it. They're trying to kill me. And he's and like Dad carries a 22 on him now, and like he had gotten to the point where he told like Bo Perry and Cody Myers and all that he races with the gun, and like he'll start blowing them away. Like he was just irritating him.
Yeah.
I get to start beside him, and I look over and I see his number, and it's beside. I'm not gonna lie to you, Cody. I got all caught up in my feels. I got
bet.
teary-eyed, and all of a sudden they threw the green flag. My dad jumped me like I was standing still. And I was sitting there, he's like, where the hell were you? And I'm like, I ain't gonna lie to you, Daddy. I got caught up in my field, and my damn hero's sitting there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't let the old man beat me.
Yeah.
I blew my motor up trying to make sure
Trying to
that I
beat
ran
him,
him.
yeah.
But, I mean,
Well, see, we didn't grow up like that. Like I had a moment like that with my dad, but we were both working on the same building trying to troubleshoot a problem with their.
how did that work with a father-son
My
dynamic?
my dad worked for Time Warner Cable, Comcast, Xfinity, Cablevision of Shreveport, depending on how old you are. And I worked for, excuse me, I worked for a local phone company, and we were both at a place downtown he was trying to figure out something, and I was there working on their cameras and some other stuff, and he asked me to come down, and I ended up being the hero in that situation because I came down and I had a little more knowledge of what he was actually looking at, and I was able to fix the problem, and it was just cool to be able to work with my dad. I've gone behind like the Holiday Inn on Financial Plaza.
Yeah.
I used to do all the phone work for them when I did telephones, and my dad wired the original building up for all the cable outlets when he worked for Cablevision, and fed all the trunk feeders and all that stuff in there. And I got to come into the elevator shaft that he worked in, and we had this cool conversation about because the elevator hadn't changed, in however many years, and it's all the same controls and all that shit. And I told him the story about on the other side of the building they had put another elevator, like they had added onto the building years later, and there was an elevator that one goes from 1 to 5 and the other one goes from 1 to 3. And I got on top of that elevator because I was the one in control of it. And when I was in there working, there was a hole in the top of it. It's a vent for air as it's going up and down. It can suck air in and push air out, because it's an elevator shaft, and they're supposed to be hermetically sealed. So if, fire, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I smoked a joint in the top of the elevator and left a roach up there. And he was like, man, that's crazy because that's what me and, one of the guys that we worked with in the one that goes to 1 to 5, we did the same thing when we were working in that building too. And I was like, oh, shit. So, yeah. Potheads have those kind of stories that, like, oh, man, that's what potheads do. They get excited about where they get to smoke weed at.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I used to, I'll be honest with you. I used to partake in certain things.
Yeah.
And
All right, obviously you don't partake. You like to drink. You don't smoke weed or anything.
Man, I have. I never was really big on it. I used to do a fair amount of drinking, but man, I stayed naked and running around.
Right,
and,
right.
It just wasn't a good fit for a guy with a little girl, I guess. So,
Yeah, I can respect
fair
that.
enough,
Yeah.
man.
So, but anyway, you.
Yeah, so no, it was they had like super late models there one night, and this was back, let's say 17 years ago. Yeah. And so I used to get so nervous because I was in the shadow of my dad,
Right.
and all of my cousins race and my
Medium
uncles-
sexy is his dad.
No, my dad. No, they refer to my dad out there as Uncle Carl.
Uncle sexy.
Uncle Carl.
Oh, Uncle Carl.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
not Uncle
Uncle
Sexy.
Sexy.
Uncle Sexy.
Wrong
sounds
neighborhood.
bad.
Sorry about
sound
that.
good at all.
No.
It might be the Birdman.
It's
You
like
ever
Uncle
watch
Old.
Gladiator movies, nephew? Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway.
And so we're sitting there, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I would, have a little toke,
Mm-hmm.
and they told us that, just to calm my nerves, and they said, okay, y'all are gonna run after the supers. So I'm like, good, we have plenty of time. Nothing is gonna happen here. And so there I am. doing my business.
Mm-hmm.
And they start calling factory stocks to the staging area. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm trying to get ready. I was supposed to start on the front row outside, okay? They're going to let us run 25 laps. It was a big deal back then for cruisers at the time.
Right.
And we were excited. I start dead last, make it all the way to second place, tore all the body panels off the car.
Didn't care.
Didn't give a shit.
No, it's high as camel pussy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Got-
Nothing
got-
matters when you're stoned.
I got into the tech area, and I'm like, that's how we do it, baby. Yeah.
You're peeing this
Hell
cup.
Yeah. No. And then all of a sudden, my dad's like, son, I'm proud of you, but where are your pants? And I look down, and I raced that whole race in a pair of socks and a pair of Scooby-Doo boxers. Didn't he just jumped in the car and went? And I was like, what, you didn't see how fast I was going, Dad? I just
Blew them fuckers off.
and that was it. I never played the game like that. And we've had a few issues with people drinking.
Right. Yeah.
And
And
like,
dirt track driving?
Right.
well, they never actually made it to the track.
Because they figured out they were
attempting.
too liquored
There
up
was
to.
one guy at Champion, and I'm not going to name his name. at all.
Richard, you know who you are.
Yeah. But this dude was
I
supposed
hope that's not his name.
he was supposed to start next to me, and I was excited because at the time, you know, it was kind of like this clash between us, you know, and he doesn't show up at all. And like I go out there, and it was the third race I'd ever won, so I was like, hell yeah. I pull in the pits, his car is on the trailer running. He's in the car, hand on the steering wheel, helmet down. Out. And I walked up and I said, hey, where the hell were you? He said, I'm getting ready for this race. And I'm like, son, that race is over. And he goes, you're just trying to mess with me, sexy. You don't want me to win. And I'm like, no,
You were napping on the trailer, son.
brother, you are,
over with.
your shit is done. And that, like, that did kind of.
Was he drunk? Is that what?
Drunk as Cougar
Yeah.
Brown.
Well,
Yeah, I
And-
remember one time as a kid going to Boot Hill, and there was a car that had his number was DWI. I don't know
Yeah.
who that was.
His number was DWI.
Yeah, well,
That's
I guess
fucking
you know
hilarious.
it wasn't a
That was
number, but
his
that's what he
name or
had on
whatever,
his
yeah.
door.
Do you remember the old days when like there was oh no Mr. Bill, like Mr. Bill, his number was oh no, and Bill'd run over anything. And then they had the logging trucks.
Oh no!
The logging like these guys, it was like 13P, 13X, and 13D, and they were all together, and they drove these behemoths of Monte Carlos. And I'm telling you, you did not want to get on the fucking end of those guys because those sons of bitches were bringing the thunder. They were gonna kill you. Like
Hey, the baddest car I've ever seen at the track was the 99X, the Lincoln. Do you remember him? I think his name was Dalton Ezernak. I
Yeah.
think.
yeah.
Man, that car, I've seen it total out cars, just destroy cars, and not a scratch. Just
No.
keep going.
Jesus.
Oh,
Well,
it was
I
amazing.
Remember, I remember stuff when I was a kid, like Mike Machota. He went out there and won a race with 3 flat tires, and like he only had 1 tire going, and like the crowd is losing their shit because how is he gonna win the race on? I don't know if you've ever tried to race with 1 flat tire.
I mean, I've tried to pull off on the side of the road with a flat tire, and
The-
give you a handful.
The reason I earned my name is because me and him, we ain't afraid to show our ass just a little bit. I got.
Well, I mean, as big as you were, I think you probably had no choice. Every time
Yeah,
you leaned
yeah.
over, your ass came out.
Hey, I was a ball of fun, but they're like I'm gonna let you know right now. I took my racing. I was so damn serious, and I still am. But I mean, I remember one night I got hit on the right side, and they blew out both tires on the right side, and I get stuck in that ditch off of Champion Park's backside, and they're gonna start the race without me because I haven't gone to the tire changing area. Well, that's because I am stuck in a damn hole. All you see is a giant blue fire suit walk out onto the track, and I'm like, oh, no, player. Y'all get that damn wrecker. We got tires to change.
Right.
You know, like, I mean, no, I wouldn't miss it. And I mean, and I'm excited because, I mean, I got put in the paper. That was always cool. Did you ever get put in the paper? I
did.
loved it. Don't you love it?
The very first time I got put in the paper, I was in the 8th grade, and they did I was on the front page of the Shreveport Times sports section for
Hell yeah.
running a mini sprint.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, I mean, when I got to school and it was on the paper, I thought I was the coolest dude there was.
Big shit, son.
Nobody cared, but I thought
Yeah,
it was
you
cool.
cared. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
Yeah.
I was in the paper once, Mudbug Madness.
Oh, you for the pepper spray?
No, I was putting up advertisement signs, and they came over and they're like, "Can we take a picture of you doing it?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever," and just went up the lat like went up on my lift. Like I was working, so I was like, yeah, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Because I never messed with those people, and like every time they tried to get an interview out of me, I was like, KTBS was down there one year, and they kept coming over to the souvenir booth, which is where I was, like during the festival, and they're like, you know, we need to get an interview with somebody. We need to get an interview with somebody. And I kept calling on the radio, and the woman that was doing the interviewing was this lady that worked for KTBS. And when you talk to her, like you're talking, you and I are talking, she talked normal. But as soon as cameras were rolling, she talked like this, and I could not stand a fucking word that came out of her mouth. So they keep on, and I keep calling on the radio, and the people are like, just do it. And I was like, I'm not fucking doing it. I promise you, you're going to regret this. And they're like, no, just do it. It's a 2-minute thing.
Just a 2-minute thing.
Just get it. So I'm like, okay. So they're like, all right, ready? We're going to ask you some questions, blah, blah, blah. And we're rolling. It wasn't live or nothing like that. So she says, I'm down here with Jonathan Gates at Mudbug Madness, the co-chair of Souvenirs. And how's the festival going? And I'm like, it's going well. And I just started mocking her. And the cameraman's laughing his ass off. She's not getting it. She's looking at me like I'm weird.
Just a loser.
And I'm just like, and then finally I just started cussing and dropping F-bomb. Oh, man, we got all these fucking people down here getting drunk and shit. Look, there's some titties over. And I'm just saying whatever I want to. And she finally is like, we're out. We're not even doing this. So they ended up getting, like, I didn't get in trouble, but.
Were you at a Champion when CMT came?
No, I wasn't there.
CMT, the country music television?
Yeah, they came because, down there, the mailbox money people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Bayou Billionaires.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dowden.
Yes.
Yeah, Dowden. So anyway,
I'm sorry. One of my favorite things is when that woman is on that show and she goes, I got new teeth. It's just showing her new teeth. That was like on the intro or whatever. I'm like, oh, my God, how fucked up is Louisiana?
So they come to the racetrack. Now, I don't know if you've ever negotiated.
Shout out to Bayou Billionaires. We'll take sponsors. New teeth.
Anyway, they call a driver's meeting, and basically he used to race a truck.
The guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
The son or whatever.
Thomas Dowden.
Yeah. And at the time, he was dating the girl's sister of the girl I was dating. So that's how we knew each other, and he told me about it. And we're in this driver's meeting, and this is whenever you separated real race car drivers from ones that just didn't give a shit. And they said, okay, so we don't have a class that can race with him because he wouldn't run with the hot stocks. Because they got all the hot stock drivers, those were all old guys, like Wayne Barnes and Dad, and they're just like, yeah, we're not going to lose to Thomas.
Right.
Like, every one of them was like, no. So they go to factory stock, and they're like, well, they'll do it. And they go, what about you, sexy? You like to be a showboat? I said, you're not going to, are we getting paid? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm not going to lose to him for free.
Right.
Like, I promise you. And he goes, well, don't you want to be part of the fun? I'm like, there's no part in believing that truck.
Oh, so they were wanting to record for the show.
They did record
and let him win.
And they let him win. And that was the thing. They wanted to sign a paper that said he kicked our asses, which was not going to happen.
Did they want y'all to interview too? Yeah, man, I got in there. He just took that turn on the outside, and as you know,
no.
he just got ahead of me.
No, the lady said, look, we know that you're a big deal with the name and the jokes, and because at the time I was dyeing my beard a different color every weekend, for what, like I was like a chameleon, whatever mood I was in.
Right.
Yeah, no, shut up.
It
was the spray kind.
I was clearing my throat.
Anyway,
you misinterpreted
long
that.
story short. So anyway, she's like, we really want you to do it. I'm like, unless you really want to see that truck get tore up, because I'm gonna hit him. Like, first of all, he's racing a truck. It's got hellacious more motor than me, but it's not faster than my factory stuff.
Right.
You can kiss my ass if I'm about to lose to him.
At that time, that class was way gone anyways, right?
Yeah, I mean, it had been, and so it was dumb.
Yeah.
Like if you were gonna.
Wait, he had a limited. Why didn't he try that?
Well, he had to.
Do you really
he had to.
go
He had
there?
to. He had to win for the show, and they did it though. They did it.
And they got a few guys that did it. Like they convinced a few guys that I never thought they would have. And they played nice. But when you see these factory stocks like checking up to, I mean, it just like I don't even think it should have made it on TV.
Right. I kind of want to look it up now.
Well, you should. Cause
I'll have to.
I remember that, but. No, we weren't there that night.
What was the name of that show, right? Bayou Billionaires?
Bayou Billionaires, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had you remember Billy the Exterminator?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I pissed that TV crew off once. I was doing some work at a house for a friend of mine, and we were doing siding, and we had ripped all the siding off, and I had to cut it down into small enough pieces to fit in the bed of his truck so he could haul it off to the dump. So I'm cutting these, 20-foot long pieces of siding down to 5 feet to fit in the bed of a truck. And I've got them stacked up like, 6, and I've just got tables set up, and I'm just throwing them, throwing them, throwing them. Well, I see Billy the Exterminator's down there at the end of this driveway talking. He's got his camera crew out there, and he's doing an interview. And, like, I can tell that they're kind of, like, looking at me. And so I stop, and I'm looking at them, and they get to talking, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're just... And I do it again, and then I see that he's like, ugh. And he kind of looks my direction, and I'm like, oh, shit, I see what's going on here.
I'm messing it up.
So I do it again, and they, kind of talk amongst themselves for a second, and then I stop, and I stop, and I step back, and I light a cigarette, and I'm taking a break. And I'm standing there, and they get to talking again, and I just reach up and bam! And I do that shit probably 10 times. And, I mean, finally they walk down there like, hey, man, we're trying to shoot some video down here. Can you guys maybe wrap it up for maybe 15, 20 minutes so we can do this? And
Go to lunch.
I'm like, hey man, I get paid by the hour, man. My boss is out in the back. You have to go talk to him. And they're like, where's it? Beer? And I just start chopping wood again. And they're like, God. So they walk off. And if you actually watch the episode, they get it. But you could tell it's cut short because if you look, you can see me in the background, like reaching up for I'm way in the background. But yeah, dude, I fucked with, and it was this big beehive that was in this garage, huge beehive that was in this garage. They had to go in and cut the side of the garage out to get the bees out and all that shit. But I pissed them off so bad. It was so funny to watch them react and not be able to hear what they were saying because they were 2 houses down. But it's a chop saw. You can hear it from everywhere, Oh, man, they were so pissed at me. That shit was so great. A friend of mine, never mind, I can't say that. I don't know if I can.
Do you remember the 4Q car that used to race out there? Were you there the night that he got ass-end? They hit him and the deck lid opened up and it was just like a shitload of chickens flew out of that thing?
Live?
This guy just knocked the hell out of him. And these chickens just... everywhere, all over. It was back when they called it Webster.
Live chickens?
A comic. I mean, what it was is it was the first night of the season, and some chickens had been roosting in his race car.
Oh, so no, but he didn't know.
He didn't even know.
Oh, that makes it even funnier. Did I tell you about the bees the other day?
No.
I pull up at Jimmy Davis and Barksdale Boulevard, and this old man's got a bee box in the back of his truck that's fallen over, and there's fucking bees everywhere, swarming my truck, swarming the car that's behind him. I'm trying to get the old man's attention. He just thinks I'm waving, and I'm not rolling my window down. You know what I'm saying? Because there's fucking bees everywhere. And then we get to going, and I can't get this man's attention. And we're coming across the Jimmy Davis Bridge, and I had my window down just a little bit at that point in time. Man, I got hit in the neck, and my insect anxiety, I'm all, Oh, dude, that shit was ridiculous. But this old man had no clue. I swear, I guarantee he got to where he was going, got out of the back, and was like, oh, no. My bees are spread all over the place.
That's what he was saying.
Yeah, I was trying to get his attention, but he's just, oh, hey, how's it going, buddy?
We, at Champion was in Webster Parish, off of 20, by the Goodwill Road. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you right now,
okay, so...
it was not uncommon for weird shit to go down. I remember, it was one of the Canterbury's, and he's racing. All of a sudden, you see his car lose its shit, and he just stops on the back straightaway, and a 6-foot-long chicken snake had come out of one of the bars, and had come around his foot. And, so we're all it's a caution, not a red flag, until he jumps out of the car. And then we stop, and he's trying to, throw it in Bubba McEachern's car. And, and you just see me, I'm driving. No, I ain't got no time for that. I'm strapped in here. But also at Champion, they used to, the track officials will try to tell you stuff when you're dirt tracking, And this is before we had radios.
As you're driving by, hey.
Yeah.
I'll catch him next time.
Can you agree? It was a lot easier to ignore people before they started yelling at us.
It was much easier to, you pretty much know where you go. So the radio deal to me is, I don't care for the radio.
I find it more unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary.
Because, if it's going to be more effective, it shouldn't take us 12 laps to get lined up.
Exactly.
And
the guy with the board,
yeah,
it didn't take any time.
and he ain't taking no shit either.
No.
Like, this is where you go. I took the time to pencil your number right here, and you could read. Like, there was C20. There was a guy who's like the 25C, and then I was the G25. But there was we never got put in the wrong spot. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember a time where, you're gonna maybe you get shuffled up, or when you're racing you don't realize. But the thing about racing is I know exactly who I'm behind.
Exactly. And everybody should. And if you don't, then you don't deserve to be out there.
And I'm not going to lie to you. My favorite is when you get that jackass that he's like, I was in front of you.
Yeah.
Well, you ain't passed this yet. Like you, if they ever had a camera in my car, I'm like,
we can do that.
I'm like a ghetto street fighter. The whole time, I'm like, oh no, motherfucker, you don't, you ain't.
No, cuz, you don't know what you're talking about, player.
Yeah, like I get.
No, Nigel.
And then I found out. I asked because I don't know. Do you do anything to keep your pace? Like while you're racing?
Not really.
Okay, because like me and Tony were talking. Tony counts. I sing while I'm racing. I'll be like, I'm about to whip somebody's ass, you know.
All originals?
No. It's normally, like, my favorite is I Gotta Get Drunk, Willie Nelson and George Jones. And I know that as soon as I go, well, I gotta get drunk, Lord, I can't stay sober. The car that's there. And I could race literally with my eyes closed as long as I'm singing.
Right.
But I found out my cousin Garen, he makes race car noises. Like that was the that's what he's doing.
Yeah, what was that? Jerry Clower, his cousin wanted to be a pulpwood truck.
Yeah,
that's what Garen wants to be, a race car. Oh, don't worry about him. He just wants to be a race car.
Wants to be a race car.
But I mean, it's really funny because then I asked my dad what I'm doing, and my dad's like, I cuss the entire time I'm out there. So I'm just imagining my dad just like, motherfucker, he's so mad. But it just cracked me up. But but they would try to tell me, and I used to cut a square out of the floor pan of my car because if we're gonna have a red flag, I don't know about you, but every time I get in the car, I gotta piss. All right. And apparently it's a pretty common thing among race car drivers that you will pee right before you get in the car, and then once you're in the staging area, it's time to pee again. And it's never a lot of pee. It's just like maybe a drip or two. And so
it's not easy to get in and out.
No.
It's a process.
And so I had a little, this guy runs up to me, he's like, Glenn, something's leaking. And I'm like, trust me, it'll stop in a minute. But
don't worry about it.
Don't come any closer.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
You'll get a glimpse of glory over here, son. Y'all didn't see the cockpit of this race car light up. I used to have a shit list on the dash of my car for people that pissed me off. It was my open. That way, if they're like, "Oh, Glenn, are you mad at me?" If your name wasn't on the shit list, you didn't.
Yeah. Well, hold on, let me look. No, I crossed that out last Thursday. Oh, that's crazy.
Yep.
But I mean, but look, that what they don't tell you. So they just gave us these radios, right? And so we've been racing with them for a few years, and the only thing that I like is when somebody breaks the fourth wall, so to speak, and like Ricky is the best about it. Ricky will say race car driver shit to race car drivers.
Right.
Like I got spun out. Tyler Morgan went in the corner and dumped me on the start. And all of a sudden he's like, Tyler, what the hell are you doing? You know you don't get your spot back, Glenn. Go back to where you were. And like that's
and that's through the heads. Can y'all talk to them back?
No,
It's just.
Oh man, if we could.
If you can only hear. Now I wanted to ask y'all, do y'all have like a pit crew?
Yeah.
Like. So, and again, please excuse my ignorance here. Everything that I know about racing is literally from Days of Thunder. So, like, when you're in the middle of a race, you can't stop in the middle of a lap and go pit, change tires.
No, once you get a caution. There's got to be a caution.
And now, is it set up just like that where you can pull in and pull right back out onto the track?
There's a tire changing area.
You got an area.
There's an area for that.
Yeah.
And now, is it your crew or is it like the track has a crew?
Well, no. Like if he's racing and he has a flat and nobody's over there,
everybody,
I'll change his tire.
Okay.
But no, the track doesn't have a crew.
No.
I wasn't sure how So I mean, I hear y'all talking about it, and with the radios, I didn't know if you were talking to like your team and they're trying to tell you like, hey,
oh no,
go low. I mean, again, I know nothing about racing.
If you like, he's got a friend of mine. We are friends together. That's like your best pal, right? You and Mr. Warren?
Yeah, we're pretty good pals.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, that guy, one of the funniest guys at the racetrack.
Yeah, he is.
But he cracks me up because, like, if he's watching you, he knows what the hell he's talking about. And if he knows that you're making eye contact with him, he's going to be telling you where you should be and where the person behind you doesn't want you to be.
Right.
And so you gotta watch. You gotta know who your friends are.
Right.
One night I was driving a friend of mine's car, and the ignition switch went out, and so shout out to Ronnie Hicks. God, what a great guy.
Ronnie Hicks.
Ronnie Hicks. He's 5 foot. He used to be 5'9", but he fell off some scaffolding. He's 5'6" now.
Man.
And he was bigger when I met him, but funny guy, just backwoods, good country fella. And he's got his head on my knee trying to fix this thing because I'm strapped in the car. And Gene Boyder walks up and he's like, Glenn, what the? And Ronnie goes,
Robbins Racing.
Yeah.
you just see Ronnie sticks his head out from under the dash and he's like, it's not what it looks like, but we will be fixed shortly. And Gene says, Glenn, file in at the back of the pack. It'll be fine. You just get on the next race. Well, he didn't tell the flagman that. And the flagman used to be Kenny, and Kenny was an old racer, so he thought I was just up to some dirt track shenanigans, like Glenn knows he can't be out here. Well, first of all, I was supposed to start on the second row of the first B main. Why would I want to start dead last on the second one? So anyway, he gets up there and he's like, 13J, get off the track. And I'm like, nah, the owner of the racetrack done told me I could be out here, so I'm not leaving. And he's insisting that I get off the track. So the track steward cuts me off, and he's got a radio that goes right into the flagman's ear. And I said, you tell that fat son of a bitch that the guy that's paying him to get his fat ass up there and wave some flags told me I could be here, and I'm not leaving. You know what that earned me? I don't care what the caution was for. I don't care. He sent my ass to the back every
single time.
No shit.
And it was a caution-filled B main. I ended up finishing second, which pissed him off. But you just hear him. He'd be like, and 13J to the back. He just kept on sending me. I had nothing to do with it. These two cars ran into each other, and he's like, all right, y'all file at the back. And 13J, head on to the back. And that's when I learned you really don't.
Yeah, you don't mess with the flagman.
You don't mess with he is the judge, the jury, and the executioner.
Yeah.
So when's your next race?
I'm not sure. We're probably pretty much done for the year. And,
okay.
I mean, there may be one more. But
it's a summertime, springtime, summer, fall
8 months
thing?
out of the year.
8 months out of the year. There's a few races scattered around during the wintertime, but not a lot.
So what you got on tap for next year? Are you changing anything up? New cars?
Man, he's going into that new class.
Yeah,
Look at him.
The crate late model class. We're trying to get off the ground.
So that's something y'all are just starting.
Yeah.
Is it something that is going on other places, or y'all?
Yeah.
I know it's just trying to get started here.
I know I have seen 5 of them so far.
Right. There's quite a few out there, and people are trying to get them together. It's just it's a class of racing that's a real race car for a guy that doesn't have millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. It costs a lot of money to race any car, but I'm tired of what like he was talking with the factory stocks, the disrespect, and two, the slick tire deal is aggravating to me because it's so hard to pass. And
see, I'm on that fence where I think that we let us groove the damn tire.
Let groove the tires.
Groove the tires.
It wouldn't be that bad for me, I don't think, if I hadn't raced cars that would pass for so long. And then you get in there, and I mean, racing anything's fun, but man, the factory stocks is the kind of class where you're faster than the guy, and if you try to. You say, well, I'm following this guy and I'm faster. Let me try to change my line and try to pass him. So you change your line a little bit, and the guy behind you is like, oh, he's messing up. Let me run over him. So then you get creamed from the back when you're trying to do something. So it's not that fun of a class to me.
See, because Dad's trying to talk me into going to Pro Mod.
It's just there again, slick tires again.
Yeah,
though,
yeah, and the thing is, like, Zach Clark's like, Glenn, no. Don't, because but the thing is, Dad's like, I think that because in his mind, what Dad's getting aggravated with is that I've been racing for a while, and my car is just a tribute to 18 years of knowing what I'm doing, and the car just ain't there.
Right.
Are you you're driving the same car you started?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
You couldn't get away with that.
Well, I wasn't sure how that worked. Again, I know nothing.
No,
I'm like Sergeant Schultz.
Would be fun because you're up on the bars and but you're still on slick tires, so.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I really don't understand the slick tires, and because it's not leveling us out.
Right.
It's not. I mean, what's it gonna hurt? And I've been a firm believer. Let the factory stocks have a bead lock.
Right.
I mean, like,
Big
'cause
time.
I've been screaming bead lock, groove tires, and headers since like 6 years ago.
And I'm a 9-inch guy too.
Are you?
Well, I mean,
What's that?
that's
Ford, it's a rear
It's
end.
a rear end. They make you run a stock rear end in a car, which is a cheesy rear end. And if you get one that's supposed to be good, it's $1,200 or $1,500, whatever they are, and they're still
We'll
junk.
talk after this. I can build you a rear
So
end.
what it sounds like to me, we need to get us a tire sponsor. We need a rear end sponsor. We need body panel sponsor. We need
And see,
race car
And
sponsors.
that's what we're talking about. The guy that's winning, he has that.
Yeah,
He's
everything.
a motor sponsor.
We need to get you. We need to get sponsors.
Oh man, you don't.
We can have
even
the
know.
My Podcast, His Man Cave race car.
Oh no, no.
And have the beard drive it.
No, we're not going to let him drive my podcast race car. What is?
Why?
wrong?
We're supposed to be doing the podcast. We need us a racer.
You got it. Like,
So anyway,
we
I'll
invited
get you
to
the.
be
I'll
the
get
first
you an
one. I'm not-
application. Don't worry about it.
No, but actually next year on my car, it's going to have everything. Like that's the one thing I've never done is really, I guess promote myself.
Right.
So next year, my car is all going to be about like my podcast, my comedy, my artwork.
That'd be good.
You
That'd be
know,
awesome.
You know
Why
what?
not?
Well, the thing is they like, I like the rap, I really do. But I miss the old days when they used to hand paint their
Right.
numbers.
Yeah.
Like I mean, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes I told Beth this year I feel like a fucking antique. Like I'm just like because I'm gonna tell you right now. I don't know about you. That the cars aren't set up the same way. Like
No.
I mean, everything that a factory stock does now is against everything that they taught me when I started would make a car turn left.
Right.
And it revolves around you trusting your car to do what you want it to. And I don't know if you've ever tried to convince 3,100 pounds to do something.
They're not good. Those cars are designed. They were built to go get groceries. So taking them around a dirt track as fast as you can possibly do it, a lot of times, most of the time, doesn't work out that good. They don't, like we were talking, they don't steer good, or they don't stop good, or they don't go
We
good.
need steering sponsors,
We do.
brake sponsors.
Yeah.
We need them all.
Have you used that the sweet box?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you run that on your car?
I like quick steer better.
Okay, so
You like
'Cause
what
I'm
better?
Old school, I guess.
Well, no. See, that's the thing is, I remember. Do you remember when I had the big tank?
Mhm.
Okay, that car didn't have a lick of quick steer in it. It was all just power steering, and that was the best driving car. And all these people that drive the metric cars, look, y'all. I might be old as shit, but a big car handles around the corner better than a metric car ever thought because there's flex.
Right.
You got that long ass wheelbase, and I mean, everybody, you just didn't want to get out of that. You just didn't want to get out of the big car. I'm gonna tell you right now. Let me find out that a big car can run with these metric cars, and I'll go right back to it.
What's a metric car?
It's a metric framed car. It's got metric bolts all over it. It's whenever America decided that we weren't gonna stay with standard size bolts.
It's when cars got. You remember you had the Monte Carlo that was 25 foot long, and then all of a sudden you had a Monte Carlo that was 10 foot long.
Yes.
That's when they went to metric. When
I
they,
gotcha.
They got smaller.
Okay.
That's one way to tell.
Lighter in weight, smaller, cheaper material, coming from another country.
Look, and I was that guy because, like, I have a friend of mine right now. Good God, he is bitching about all of the rules. Oh, well,
I got a friend of mine that does that too.
Well, no, I don't bitch about the rules because I mean, like, for instance, that shit they pulled at Boot Hill the other night, and I'm not saying anything against Steve, but they were really ugly to Steve about it, and there's no reason to be because it's such a reading into too much. But like the lip on the lip on the seat was 3/4 of an inch past where it's the lip of a seat.
Yeah.
Y'all are bitching about a lip of a seat, or like when they're like, the ones that are really doing good when they got like it all cut off, or they got the rake in the back and they act like we can't see that.
Yeah.
I mean they're going and but anyway, Steve feels bad because most of these cars have made it through tech,
Right.
and they're like, well, they should have been disqualified. Well, if you really want to be technical, if you want to be technical in a factory stock class, everybody's illegal.
Yeah. I
It's
think
like
what
that,
it boils down to is that, everybody's got so much money tied up into them.
Yeah.
And that goes back to not working on your own stuff, so I have to pay somebody else to do it. So,
And you work on all of your own stuff.
we
for the
have to
most
buy
part.
stuff. Our cars are not home-built cars. or like the late models or the sprint cars weren't home built cars like some of the factory stocks are. Um, so we buy the cars, but yeah, we put them together and I work on them and tune them. I got Kyle Bassett is a guy that helps me do a lot of stuff. I've drove his car for the last couple of years, and he helps me with the car, and we do a lot of stuff on our own. We scale our own car and set our own car up, and
So how many races have you won?
I
He
don't
said,
know.
I can't count that high,
Well,
fool.
I don't know. We
I know I've only lost 2. That's all I do know.
We'll see. My number's not high, but I know some guys.
Wins or losses?
Wins. No. Oh, your losses should always outnumber
they're
your
gonna
wins.
Mine,
Unless you're
mine
just
don't.
Yeah.
Mine don't because I'm such a winner.
I know in the 2011 was like my best year. I think we won 14 races that year, like 9 in a row in a sprint car.
Hell yeah.
So I don't know if I had to say probably around 50 or 60.
Oh,
I
that's
guess,
badass.
something
See,
like that.
I've got 6.
That's good. Hey,
I know some that have never
yeah,
won one.
Yeah.
Now, whenever I first started, was it 2005, 2006, and 2007, I actually led the points championships at one point at Champion, and I mean, I was always in the top 3, and I mean, I was a contender, and that's what but that's the part that they don't understand. I mean, the ones that I talk to, like I talked to Dean and Jeff Lewis about it and stuff like that, and that's the ones that I really go up to them and they understand that like my car is on the jack stands right now because I don't like to feel good at something. I like to feel like I am awesome at it.
Right.
And I'm not gonna go out there and pray to make a feature.
Right.
Yeah. Because I mean I have a pretty, I mean, like you were talking about Tyler Morgan, we were at Manny and he lined up beside me. They threw the green flag and I pulled him 3 car links. And he comes up to me and he's like, "What kind of motor do you have in your car?" I'm like, "It's a pretty good piece,
Right.
And I mean, I'm not going to go into everything, but I mean, it's a pretty good piece.
Right.
And I have a lot of faith in my stuff. And whenever you go out there and you just feel like a monkey fucking a football.
Yeah. Yeah. You always want to go and at least know you got a chance at winning.
Yeah, or be competitive.
Right.
Like, I mean, the last 3 people last time I've been T-boned like by people I didn't even remember knew were still racing.
Yeah,
like I
right.
thought, oh shit.
Right.
And like, first of all, how you gonna hit me? You got all this drag. It's not like I was right in front of you. Steering wheel came off. You want to talk about the scariest thing in a race car? That's it.
I've had that happen more than once.
It doesn't. And it's the same. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh god, and you try to do the cartoon thing.
Yeah, stick it back on.
It doesn't work.
I've had it happen 3 times. Twice I stuck it back on. One time I went straight into the wall.
Let me say this. One of the scariest things I've ever encountered was in a route truck. And the engine revved up and would not, like the cruise control set or something, and it wouldn't come off. So I'm doing, it governed out, I think it's 72, 82, I think it was 72 miles an hour. I'm on 49, and I can't stop the truck. And I don't know what to do. And I call my boss, and I'm like, dude, I got about 2 miles to make a decision before 49 turns into Pete Harris. And I'm driving a 35,000-pound missile right now. What do I do? He said, man, honestly, I'm just going to tell you the truth. Kill the engine, pull the air brake, and hold the fuck on because I don't know what's going to happen. I've never encountered this. And I, on the interstate, had to kill the engine to an International 4300 and pull the air brake. And it was scary until I pulled the air brake, and then it's like, oh, this thing's just going to slow down and stop.
Okay.
I was so nervous, and nothing happened.
Nothing.
But, dude, it was so fucking nerve-wracking. I just knew that this thing was just going to, just going to lock up.
Well, I was talking to him
God, it didn't.
out before we came in here. The last one that I had that really scared me is we had a race at Boot Hill, and it had rained. God, it had rained and rained. And like in my mind, just call the fucking race.
Right.
Because we're talking about like 1.5 feet of
Right.
mud. Everybody's muddy. We're dirty. It took me 15 minutes to get from packing the track to my trailer, and I got stuck 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay? I wasn't in any mood. I said, I ain't going to hot lap this son of a bitch. I'm pissed off. And I'm throwing myself a little fit over there. I'm not worth killing. I get out on the track, and I hit that slick spot, and it threw me off the back straightaway, and I have never been so thankful that it rained because it made the ground soft.
Right.
Because if it wouldn't, I would have cartwheeled that son of a bitch. The problem is in my head, I had flipped. in my head because the car went way up in the air and then dove down. And when it hit the ground, I said, "Oh shit!"
It's over with.
Well, then the next day, I get back on the track, and everybody's like, "What the hell happened? You were going so slow." And I said, and then when they throw the caution, and I get my shit back together, I said, "Glenn was over there flipped." Okay, my body just went through the motions, and I finished the race. And then during the caution, I picked Glenn's ass back up, and we decided we were
gonna race.
going to. But
Yeah.
oh man, I'm telling that's I don't get shook up very often, but when the tires leave the dirt,
All right.
it's like, because I remember asking my dad, it was like one of those weird conversations. Like, Dad, you know, you look at your dad and you're like, Daddy, what do you do whenever the car flips? And he's like, oh, you just close your eyes and count, son. There ain't shit you can do after that. Like, you've lost control. And I mean,
Right. Yeah.
that's just terrifying.
Speaking of being competitive, I mean, it kind of my whole outlook changed on racing after, you know, from being a kid all the way up until we'd run a sprint car a lot. We traveled with the sprint car, and my goal was to race for a living. I mean, that was my plan, and that's what we were going for. And once you get to a point to where you say it ain't gonna happen,
Right.
everything changes as far as your outlook on racing. Because
Now, what caused it not to happen? Why would I mean? Is it just because?
man, what most people don't understand about racing, and you don't make it to big time racing on talent. You make it to big time racing if you got money.
Right.
So, you know, if you see a Casey Kane or a Tony Stewart, somebody doesn't call and say, you know, I want you to come drive my car because you're so good. They call a guy up and they say, I've got this much money and I want to come race your car. So that's what happens.
Right.
So if you don't have thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, you're not going to make it in professional racing. That's just the way it is. Keith Kuntz, if you do a little back story on Keith Kuntz Motorsports, it's a sprint car team.
Mm-hmm.
In the 90s, they were racing, and they won a points championship and lost money. So he was going to close up because he was losing money, and they were winning. They were winning everything and losing money. So they were planning on closing up, and he got a call from a guy that had a kid that wanted to race and said, I'm going to give you so much money if you'll let my kid drive your car. You know, that's where it kind of started going downhill, because that's what happens everywhere now, even down to a local level pretty much. So, you know, even no matter who you are, if you're Jeff Gordon, if you don't come with money, you're not going to race. Nobody says, man, I'm going to pay you $5 million to come drive my car. I mean, that's what most people think, but that's not how it is. I mean, you pay your way in, you sponsor yourself. You either have somebody that pays your way, or you pay your own way, or you don't race. So
I've never heard that.
Yeah,
so,
that's
but
what
again,
Well,
I'm ignorant as fuck when it comes to
Yeah,
racing.
so-
Well, I mean, you see a lot of it at the local level too, because I mean, you're talking about and I ain't gonna lie to you, any night that I finish top 10, and I know what I'm racing against, I'm racing against some dollars.
right.
I'm
Yeah.
racing against. I mean,
Yeah.
we're easy like they're paying what, $17,500 for a roller now.
Yeah, and then
That-
then a $12,000 motor in a factory stock. So
Yeah, like look how
Just to
like,
crash this fucking
Yeah.
thing around a track for
yeah,
Yeah.
8 minutes,
and then they don't let us fight anymore, which is just ridiculous.
like fist fight.
Yeah. Now
So it was like hockey when y'all hit the ground and had to stop.
Well, I
No.
think I blame promoters and track owners for that, because they'll demonize you. Like, you go to a pit meeting and you'll hear, you fight at my track, you're going to jail. But they never say anything about a guy that gets in his car and runs over another guy's car.
Right.
So, you know, you take a chance of really killing somebody. I mean, chances are, if I come punch you in the face, you're not going to die.
Right.
But I could kill you with my car, but they make that seem like less of an offense.
Well, let me
That's
tell
not
you
that
right
big a
now,
deal.
there's been several times that like they get mad and they're gonna throw their hissy fit. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'll say it right now. Let me look in this camera.
Right there, where the blue light is. Here he goes.
It would have been a 9-line ass whooping at Arclitect Speedway if I would have been in the F5. I'm just throwing that out there. You know who you are.
Shout out to F5.
No, F5 guy.
I don't know what it is.
There was no reason for the way he acted. That boy hit that son of a bitch underneath the caution and just run him the hell over, throwing a fit. I'd have whooped everybody's ass there.
See, and that's what.
That's
and,
the part that pisses me off, because he could have hurt. He hit him
Right.
right in the driver's side.
Right. And what happened? Nothing. But
Nothing.
if he would have got out and punched him, he would have gone to jail, and he would have had to bail out, all this. And they've created this. The track owners have created this deal to where You can't be a man anymore. You can't get out and punch somebody, because if you do that, you're the devil and you're going to jail and you're a bad influence. But get in your car and run over somebody, cost them a lot of money, tear your own stuff up, risk hurting somebody, and
Because
you know,
I'm telling
come back
you,
next weekend.
he gunned it, right? And just T-bones this dude at a dead stop. Not to mention, it's an older guy. Now, he's been doing a lot longer than I have, but I mean, look, I'm 34, and you hit me hard enough in that car, I'm going to be stove up as hell the next day. But there was a time when you could handle it like men.
Right.
Like that. Like one of my biggest respects for you is that night you went in there and you might have hit somebody in a B-17 car.
Maybe.
And he might have done it. But
Oddly specific.
I'm gonna tell you right now. Well, that guy's a little quick-tempered. But what's really funny, this dude gonna walk up to him right in the pits and be like, "Yeah, that shit happened. Like what are you gonna do about it?"
Yeah.
And it was just like, 'cause it's real. Like, yeah, it happened.
Right.
And if you're honest, you're honest. But
You know, just the very last time I raced at Boot Hill, you know, we're running and I don't know what happened. I just way overdrove it and I hit Little John, spun him out, and it was clear as day. I mean, I just run him over, and they went to put him in the back, and I went to the back.
Yeah.
I told Ricky, I was like, man, I clobbered him.
that was all me.
But then we were in the back anyways, but you know, and then I called him the next day because we were racing late models that night, and I didn't have a chance to go over there because we raced back to back, and by the time everything was done, everybody was pretty much gone.
Yeah.
But I talked to him and was like, man, you know, I got you. I didn't mean to do that. And that's what I say. You know, most of the time, if somebody hits you, it's not
It's
on
not
purpose.
malicious.
Yeah,
it's
not on
usually,
purpose.
oh shit,
usually
my
an
bad,
ac-
bro.
It's usually an accident, and
Kind of
sometimes
like
you
when I
do
rear-ended that guy not too long ago.
Yeah.
Totaled my truck.
you do get aggravated when the same person is constantly, you know, making a mistake or whatever. Because, you know, if you do it a couple times, you're like, man, you know, I might need to watch out. But
I think also, like, there are people you know, you've raced with them for a long time. And I remember it was this one race, and one of the guys known for the slide job. It's where you go in there and you slide in front of them. But it also 90% of the time requires the guy that you're doing this to check up.
yeah,
So they're sitting there calling, oh, and it was Doug, and they call him Booby. Like, Booby's going to do the slide job on Sexy. It's coming. And my brother is not in racing, and my brother's like, what the hell is a slide job? So we're over in the tech area.
I want one.
And I go over there, I win, and he looks at Doug, and he's like, what the hell is a slide job? And Doug explains to him what it is. He said, well, why didn't you do it? They've been calling it for 5 laps. And he said, it requires the car behind you to check up, and your brother ain't known for it. Glenn would be happy to wipe us both off the face of the earth because he thinks it's a dirty move. And I do. I think that if it's not a clear pass,
Because you're sliding and bumping them out of the lane.
No, you're sliding.
you're blocking.
You're
just
cutting them
blocking
off.
their lane.
Oh, okay. I got you. And you have to check up for
Yeah.
it to work. You have to slow down for him to actually be able to make the slide.
You overdrive the turn. You overdrive the entry of the turn, and you turn in low and just slide up and take their line. And you know,
Sometimes.
And if you don't check up,
if the
you
guy
run in the ass end of them, send them wherever you send them. Is that what
Well,
I'm
that-
saying?
you send yourself and them most of the
Yeah,
time.
Oh, okay.
you're gonna end up wadding your own shit up. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. If you do it and we're squared up, I'm gonna push you all the way down because it's to me it's a bullshit move.
Right. In the sprint cars, it's a whole lot better move, and that's kind of
Well,
where
no,
it came from.
yeah,
Because sprint cars are more agile. You can slide up, go back under, slide up, go back under, and it's fun to watch and it's fun to do. That's a 1,200-pound car with 600 or 700 horsepower. You get in a 3,500-pound car with 300 horsepower. You're not quite as agile, so you can't just slide up, turn under, slide up, turn under. You're pretty much gonna go in and wipe somebody out. So, you know, that's where it goes downhill in the bigger car.
Now, can I ask you a good question? All these people that secretly despise the fact that certain people are winning all the time. Do you shake your head whenever they all congratulate him? Like, you know, whenever they're driving by him and they're all revving up, like he gives a shit.
Yeah.
But they're all like, boom, yeah. Hi, just notice I said hello.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the stand just shaking my head like, y'all ass kissing,
Well-
brown nosing, like, y'all know he don't like you.
Yeah, it pretty. I mean, you know if somebody don't like you, so you know.
But
I don't know. I guess it makes them feel good to be a part of something. You know, they're on the track with a guy that wins all the time, even though they're not a part of it. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe they're trying
but
to.
I will tell you, and there's a lot of credit I'll give to the band because only one time have I ever heard a cocky speech come out of him where he was like, yeah, I didn't really feel like there was a lot of competition tonight. And that, well, if that's how you feel, carry your ass.
Right.
But most of the time the ones that get me are the bullshit artists that are like, yeah, when I first came out there, the transmission started slipping, the clutch wasn't working, I knew my carburetor. And
I didn't fill up with gas before I came out, so, you know.
But they got like a half a track lead on everybody, but that car was running like shit the entire time. And I'm sitting there like, my car was running fine, and I finished fifth.
Yeah.
Now,
the thing about it is, though, is that, you know, as much as it would piss you off or aggravate you, if he did say that, I mean, what could you say, really, because he's backing it up.
Yeah.
We went to the Short Track Nationals one year, and that's a sprint car race in Little Rock. It's one of the biggest 360 sprint car races, you know. And I think it was 2012 or 13 or something. And Sammy Swindell is a sprint car guy. And
nice guy.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy. So nice. He's the kind of guy that you either love him or you hate him, and that's the way the fans are. You know, fans will either have a Swindell shirt on or they'll have I hate Swindell. Swindell needs to die. Yeah, something like that. So, anyways, and he never really smiles. He never gets emotional at all. So he, on about the third lap of the race, his left front tire goes flat, and he goes on to win the race. So after the race, they're interviewing him, and the guy said, he said, did you realize that your left front tire went flat? He said, yeah, I did. He said, but obviously I can beat these boys on 3 tires. And when you already have, you know, a split crowd, beer cans went flying, everybody went booing, and you know, that's what
you can't be mad at somebody talking shit. Not a winner, at least.
He backs it up, you know. And his son got hurt, paralyzed his son in a sprint car wreck, and since then he's kind of changed his attitude a little bit. It seems like it's like he's a little more
cautious.
No, not cautious, but smiles a little more and a little more gracious. Yeah, not quite as much of an asshole, but you know.
You know who I enjoyed. I know you know Dean Rasco.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that last time Dean's been racing for 150 years.
This guy sounds old.
Yeah. Well, he'll tell you he is, but
he's still pretty fast.
Yeah, he told me he was gonna hang it up, and I said, "What are you gonna do?" He said, "I'm gonna mount a steering wheel on the wall. Whenever I feel like I need to turn it, I'll just spin the son of a bitch and consider it done." But I remember, whenever he wins, how grateful he is to win a race, and he gets choked up. And I ain't gonna lie to you, old Dean will I'll tear up too, you know. But you were talking about Sammy, so we went over to Lone Star. It's Dad's birthday, and we go over there, and that's what Dad wanted to do for his birthday. So we go to I gotta get him the pit pass so we can meet the drivers and all this. And we go over. Sammy Swindell was so nice to my dad. He's autographed the shirt just nice as he could be. We go over to Steve Kinser's pit, and Steve was an asshole. And apparently he's never met my father before. And you're going to acknowledge my dad. My dad's like, listen here, motherfucker, we done paid $45 to see your stupid ass. You going to sign this shirt. Steve Kinser didn't know what the hell to deal with. Carl Lindsay was so far up in that dude's ass, just letting him know, my son done bought me this birthday present. I come to meet you. Fuck you, Steve. You signed my shirt and I'm kicking your ass.
Yeah, you never meet your heroes. That's what they say.
Yeah, they always let you
never
down.
meet your heroes.
Yeah, so my dad's sitting there we had to get escorted out of the World of Outlaws because Dad done got all up into Steve Kinser's ass. And you know who I met that was real nice was I met Danica Patrick.
Mm-hmm.
She smoke show. She hot?
Oh, she was fine.
Yeah. Man, you know, like we were talking earlier, you know, for me coming up, just wanting to. I mean, if I could have gotten a mini stock in my day and packed a track when I was a kid, I thought I would have made the big time, you know. And then with the sprint car deal, we were lucky enough to get to race with some of those guys and, you know, park beside them and be on the track with them. And, you know, you going around the track and Sammy Swindell's beside you, or, you know, we never raced with Tony Stewart, but he was there. And when you put a helmet on, to me, he's no different than me and you.
Right.
But away from that, they are, because of what they've done. You know, they've done so much, and not only on the track, but they've done so much off the track. I mean, they're just spokesmen for the sport, and most people wouldn't understand, but I mean, I'm passionate for the sport, and
Well,
I appreciate that, whether I like the guy or not. Like
yeah.
Sammy's smartass or whatever. They're a spokesman for the sport, and they promote the sport that we love, and they help us, even down to a local level.
Yeah.
They help. Tony Stewart goes to Chatham. I mean, he packs the place out, and people are like, we're racing too, not just Tony, but
Yeah, but
Tony brings the crowd.
yeah,
Oh, no.
you bring
And
you
I
fill
was
the
there that
stands.
night.
Yeah, and
he
it-
was such a nice guy.
It's
that-
awesome, because they're just regular guys, and when you get to you sit back, and when you're in the moment, you're racing, you don't think about it because you're working on the car, and you want to beat them just like anybody else. But when a lot of times on the ride home, I'm like, man, we just raced with people that when I was 10 years old, we were watching race on TV and thought that, we'll never. That's crazy. We'll never get to even meet these people.
Yeah.
Well,
and
that's
get
like
to
a lot
race
of
with 'em.
people.
Dreams come true, baby.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm nobody, but
Yeah, but
We
it's
got
a
to
dream, and
race
it
with
came
'em,
true for you. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
But you were on that list of people that they were like, why is Chris Hennigan, why is Rollo, why are these people coming to factory stock? Because in their mind, y'all have surpassed the class, and I'm sitting there tickle pink. Because I'm like, oh man, I get to race against the Beard, I get to race against Win Again
Yeah.
Hennigan,
and we all started pretty much the same year. We started at Boot Hill in the modifieds. It was me and Jamie Burford, and Hennigan started pretty close to the same time. B.J. Robinson started pretty close to the same time, and I mean, you see if you know anything about racing, you know what those guys are going on to do. I mean,
Oh,
Hennigan's
yeah.
pretty much unbeatable, and then you got
Hennigan can make that bottom
Oh,
work.
he's just
God,
he's a magician. He's so fun to watch because the car's so smooth no matter what. I mean, he's an ace at what he does in that modified. And then you got BJ that is running the World of Outlaws and the Lucas stuff and being competitive and winning races, and it's just cool, man. That those guys. I mean, they don't.
Well, I remember at Ronnie Adams' funeral, we were all sitting there, and you're getting to sit with like Doug Ingalls and these are all like literal legends.
Yeah.
I mean, Doug's.
So we looked up to when we were kids,
Man.
man. It was like Superman. Those guys. So.
And the beautiful thing that I thought was funny is you had Doug Ingalls fans and you had Ronnie Adams fans, and they hated each other.
Yeah.
But Ronnie and Doug had been friends since they were kids,
Yeah.
and like Doug told me, he said, the thing is, if Ronnie ran me over, I knew that he'd have the part to fix my car, and if I ran him over, it's the same way. And I mean, but it was so cool because we're sitting on the back porch at the little gathering. They had that little gathering at Doug's house, and it was the first time I ever felt like I was part of the crew.
Right.
Because Doug's like, "Come on, Glenn, come sit beside me." And Doug Ingalls tells some of the best stories.
He got some.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now, he got some crazy stories about the ins and outs of dirt track.
Yeah.
And then it was just really cool just to sit in the presence of these people, you
Right.
know. And I mean, Chris isn't much of a talker until you get him to talk to you, but just a nice guy, you
Right.
know. And of course, I'm a fan of the hotheads. I like the ones that like to get a little shitty.
Yeah.
Like I like those guys.
I guess that's why I'm here. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, no, the thing is, like with you, I mean, the thing is I know me and you have we've always gotten along. Never had a reason not to. Race real hard together when we do race together. You're not afraid to put a bumper on me. I'm not afraid to put a bumper on you. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not trying, but I don't want you to win, and I don't.
Exactly.
You know, I want you to be safe, but I don't want you to win. You know,
Not with you on the track.
No.
no, I mean, but at the same time, if he's got a better car than me, and he passes me outright and everything, I will look. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a dirt track fan in the car, and
Oh, I'm a
Oh,
fan.
that was a hell of a move.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
That's what
look
I
at that.
that's what I always say.
Yeah,
I'm a
damn.
fan first, no doubt.
right,
I mean,
yeah.
you know.
But I mean, I am guilty as hell of like if it's a damn good move, and it ain't, well, damn, look at this,
Yeah,
like that son of a bitch done caught me sleeping,
Yeah.
like, or if it's somebody that got me that no,
Right. Yeah.
that's the last time you're gonna get that one,
Yeah.
you know. And it's you know, you get a few people that you know, and it's like Doug Ingalls, not Doug Ingalls, Doug Vick, one of the nicest guys in dirt track. Well, I had a pit chief at one time that, man, he was mad because it just seemed like last year me and Doug, just every time we got on the track, he was getting spun out into me or I was catching him, and he's like, I'm gonna go talk to Doug Vick, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I said, Doug's one of the nicest guys in dirt track.
Yeah.
Like, but well, now look, Doug.
Shout out to Doug, the nicest guy in dirt track.
No,
4B.
you want to know? You want to know how nice he is? Honest to God, guy literally fucked him at Arklatex.
You do know what the word literally means.
Yeah, I'm talking about like in dirt track, it means he messed his car
Okay,
up.
yeah.
It does
Just
not.
making sure.
He didn't bend him over. In
Yeah.
front of
Okay.
We don't
Well,
want
I
that
mean,
rumor.
when you say literally,
But,
I
like-
don't know how they're gonna take it.
But like, no, this guy, if he's walking across the track, we're not gonna be talking. There ain't
Yeah.
gonna be no. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and get these seatbelts
Yeah.
off because there ain't no way in hell that gorilla is gonna catch me in this car.
Right.
Right, and either that or he's about to eat some fire
Yeah,
extinguisher.
yeah, something.
Something.
But I'm not gonna sit there. Doug gonna march over there and just let him have it, and then turn around and walked off like he told him, "Good job," you know.
Right.
And I'm sitting there like, "No, Doug," like, because I mean, the problem with Doug, and I understand it, is he admits he's one of us that admits he's got a temper. And a lot like me, the older I get, I don't like to unleash that demon.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
because I don't want to hurt anybody physically. But at the same time, I ain't afraid to get a little rough and
Right.
tumble. But,
Right.
I mean, it's just because I remember.
Legend in his own
Well,
mind.
it goes back
Oh,
to.
no, I'm telling you right now.
It just goes back.
I'm
to,
fucking with
One
you.
of the best ass whoopings I ever saw, Steve Bogus. That dude was begging Steve to quit whipping his ass. Please, Mr. Bogus, please. And he just whipping the hell out of him. Because Steve was strong as a damn gorilla. And, I mean, he'd whip your ass. Like, I mean, there was some out there, you just, like I remember, Edward Rice, and they was racing trucks. And Edward, God bless him, was a little aggressive, a little rough. And Alan Bass had just had enough of it. He told him, he said, "You touch that motherfucking car, I'm going to flip you down the back." And he fucking did. He flipped him over and pushed him from the flag stand all the way to the damn corner,
Jesus.
upside down. He was madder than hell. And they got out, and they handled like men.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you remember Clay Ivy?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you know Clay he was a monster.
When I was probably maybe 8 years old,
Yeah.
I went to Manny. It may have been a little bit, may have been 10, but I went to Manny to a play day. Clay had a car with it was primer gray, a Camaro,
Yeah.
and it had those skirts on the bottom.
Yeah.
To this day, the coolest thing I ever seen was that car, because he went around the track, and to me, it looked like he was just,
Gliding.
yeah, there's no way he could have went that fast. I mean, in my 10-year-old or 8-year-old mind, there's not a car anywhere, not Steve Kinzer, not Dale Earnhardt, nobody could have outran that guy, because he was
Not
so
that
fast.
day. Not
And
that day, yeah.
it's still there. I still feel that way. I don't think anybody could have outran him that day. And that car looked cool as hell because it was primer. And,
Yeah.
man, I mean, I'll never forget that. That stuff sticks with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Dad,
Yeah, absolutely.
my dad's 5'6". He's not a very big man.
Right.
Well, Clay and Dad had gotten into a little skirmish.
Mhm.
Clay was mad, but Clay was big old giant logger. I mean, I was a
Yeah.
kid, and he's a monster. He's just a monster, right? He comes up to Dad, and he's so mad, he told Dad he gonna kill him. And Dad said, "You ain't killing me, motherfucker." Grabs a crowbar and tells Clay, "I'm about to put the pointy end of this fucking crowbar in your neck and pull your fucking head off your shoulders." And Clay said, "Maybe we should talk about this."
Yeah, maybe we should talk after the race.
Like, it was just, 'cause
Right.
my dad was just, my dad used to he'd fight a bear. But I mean, he had a heart attack, and then 8 weeks later, you talk about the devotion to dirt track. My dad had a heart attack. 8 weeks later, he's out at the racetrack, car-wheeling one down the back straightaway.
I
Like,
remember that.
and then the ambulance driver that took him when he had his heart attack, the same one that pulled him out of the car. He's like, "What are you doing?" And Dad's like, "Well, I guess I ain't doing that good."
Yeah.
And then he looks at me. I said, "What were you thinking about?" He said, "Do you know how hard it is to take a nitro upside down?"
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Trying to
Yeah,
open 'em
trying to
up.
get it out of his pocket. Well, boys, I hate to, but we need to wrap this up soon. We are at the 2.5 mark. I got to work tomorrow. Y'all want to keep going without me? Y'all are more than welcome
No,
to.
no.
No. Y'all are more than welcome
Yeah.
to. But we do need to
Okay.
show the light here in a minute because I
Okay.
do have to work tomorrow, so I don't want to be too late.
I got to work too.
Well, you going to the gym in the morning?
You know it.
I hear you. Did you go to the gym after the other night?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I bet
No,
you
I
did.
just
What
slept
time
like
did
a
you
baby.
leave here? 2:00 in the morning?
Yeah, oh shit. I
Man,
was
we
like-
did. We had the video cut us off on one of the ones we did. We recorded so goddamn long.
Well, I enjoyed it, man. I thank y'all for letting me come
No,
do this. And,
I've had a blast,
Oh,
dude.
no,
I've,
you're coming back.
yeah,
Like,
I've learned a lot, and I got a ton of questions to ask too about it. I definitely need to come check it out
yeah, you should.
and come to one. Maybe
Yeah.
riding the record with you.
Oh Lord. Well, then that'll be. I mean, I think the next one at Boot Hill is the 16th. Yeah,
Maybe so.
they're having the
this
award.
month?
Yeah, they're having the award ceremony, and
I think that's the weekend of my high school graduation or
Do you know-
graduation reunion. Yeah,
Do you know you're gonna go to that?
I believe I've been
God.
asked to go to it.
Did you go to Did you go to
other
any of
people.
yours?
No, I've never been to one. I never went to prom or anything. I didn't. We were
I didn't-
racing all those times.
I
so.
got turned down 28 times. to go to
28
prom.
times.
Yeah, like no, I never. I had that never say die spirit.
Oh yeah.
I went to 2 proms after I graduated high school.
I did that. I
Yeah.
went. My wife. I went to prom with her.
Yeah, but when you're trying to
After.
smash, man, you're trying to smash, right? Is what
Well,
I'm saying?
she asked me to go, and I guess it worked out. She's still around. I don't know why, but she's still hanging around. So.
How long y'all been together?
17 years, I think.
True. And how long have you been married?
8 years. Just the other day, October 1st was
Well,
8
hell yeah.
years.
That's your anniversary, October 1?
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Thank
coming
you,
up
sir.
on 11 being
Yeah.
married.
Yeah, she's awesome, man. She puts up with a lot. She has for years. So
I think you have to be a special type of woman to love to love a man that is so passionate about something that could kill him.
that's exactly right. And not only that, but man, I make some harebrained decisions outside of racing.
On
too,
and off the
so,
track,
yeah,
right?
I
Yeah.
come up with some stuff sometimes that at the moment I'm like, man, this is genius, and then like after I try
$350 and
I
a couple
tried,
of solid
and
hours later.
I'm like, man, that was stupid. But the whole time she's like, even when she knows it ain't gonna work out, she knows that I'm stupid and it's gonna be wrong. She's like, well, maybe so. But in the back of her mind, she's like, this
Dude's a fucking asshole.
he's an idiot.
How do you think my wife feels? I mean,
Yeah, like
yeah, here we are.
yeah, here we are in my man cave doing podcasting at 11 o'clock at night.
That's what I.
When I told her earlier, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when I told her earlier, I was like, yeah, I got to do something. We're going to record tonight. She was like, ugh, I'm going to get my fucking nails done. Okay. So and I'm like, I got you. I told them that I got to work around you. It's Sunday. I get it. And she's just like, I mean, my wife puts up with so much shit. Cause I mean, I've owned a lawn service since we've met. I mean, I've been not the easiest thing to put up with. So I mean, my wife. Shout out to my wife. You know who you are, baby. You're the shit, and I'll say that in front of everybody.
I own a scrap yard right now, and scrap prices are lower than they've been 16, 20 years or whatever they are. And I just bought it probably 6 months ago, and I'm always doing something crazy like that. And it's like not just small things. Like it costs a lot of money to buy that scrap yard, and
Yeah.
it was a big decision. And
Yep.
she's like right there, just like
Right there.
I think it's awesome.
I refer to my wife as my ride or die bitch,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
We've been through a lot, ups and downs. Both of us, shit that she's done, shit that I've done, blah blah blah. We're still right here kicking.
Right there.
So I don't think you're gonna rip us apart. To be honest, we're gonna have to walk away from each other, which I don't see happening anytime soon.
I have never had an argument with my wife as far as racing goes until the other day. We're driving down the road, and my dad, like I told you, is hell-bent on me driving a Pro Mod, and my wife is so against Pro Mod. She's like, that's fucking stupid. Fuck that class. They ain't a bunch of no talent. Only 4 of them can drive. Like she gets so mad about it. And then she said something, and I don't normally man up. Like, you know what I'm talking about? But the minute she said, well, you ain't gonna.
Oh,
That is the quickest way to find a Pro Mod in that shop is for you to tell me
You
I
ain't
ain't
doing
gonna.
that.
Yeah.
Limited. And I looked at her and I said, "What?" I said, "I don't remember anything in this marriage agreement where you gonna tell me what I'm gonna drive." And she's like, "Well, who the hell?" I mean, and it started an all-out war. And Dad goes, "I'm really thinking about that Pro Mod." I'm like, "Don't even bring that Pro Mod up in here. Like, you just need to leave it alone." That's like you could have told her I'm about to start doing like corporate espionage, and she's against it. And I mean, it's a topless class, which that doesn't really bother me because, no offense, sheet metal ain't gonna tell you. You run the same risk, but it's scarier.
Right.
But I mean, in the sense of I don't want to see the moon while I'm racing. But
But it's so pretty.
yeah, but I mean, that's like that because normally it's like because I'll get in my head and I'll start thinking about what they're doing to win, and I'll be like, I'm gonna need to buy these $500 this, and my wife is like, do it, and then when it doesn't work. Thank God she's not an I told you so, because that would just, like, can you imagine that, like, it didn't work, and she's not like, well, aren't
Salt
you...
on the wound.
Yeah, like, I mean, I just, sometimes, like, there's certain things in dirt track that'll piss me off more than anything. A flat tire. The most irritating, like, there's some nights, I promise you, I wish the damn front end just fell off. You go around the corner and you're winning and you're feeling good, and all of a sudden you feel, and you're just like, you want to hear some cussing? That'll be, let that
Flat tire.
the cheapest damn thing on the car is gonna be the one that. But I mean, I think that I don't let racing get in between me and her. Personally, if I can't afford, if Mama can't afford to be happy, then the race car will stay parked as long as I mean, because she ain't gonna go without, you know. And I mean, granted, like I said, I got good equipment. I got them fancy ass shocks and all this shit, and you know. But I mean, it's so funny because I have seen dudes. So there's some dudes that have wrecked their marriages over dirt track. Like,
well, like I said earlier, I had a different outlook on it now. Before racing was it. I mean, there was nothing.
yeah, because I remember a long time ago, he was the guy.
It was 18-wheelers. We had 18-wheeler haulers, and I mean, I had a lot of people helping me too. You know, so in my mind, I have to perform. I got to do good for them, and we got to go to races because they paid for us to go to races, and that's what we got to do. But now it's a whole different outlook. So you know, if there's something else to do, if we want to go camping, or if we want to do this, or if she wants to go bowling or whatever, you know, we don't have to go race. We don't have to every weekend.
Don't it feel good? I hated points racing.
I've never points raced, and I've never won a points championship in my whole life.
Don't do
I
it.
came within a few points of winning one, and I didn't. But I've never chased points. I've chased wins, and that's it. That's all I've ever wanted to do. Even though we ran a whole series, that point championship never meant anything to me. I just wanted to win races.
Well, you know, I was really happy for several people that because I mean, a points championship, you have to really put in the money to be there.
Yeah. Like, you have to show up every race.
And
because if you don't, you get a big goose egg where somebody else just got 2 points even.
Like I was, but I would. What it also gives us a chance to see is like Josh Doherty. You know, he's a good old boy like us, where he, you know, now he's got some equipment, but what I'm saying, he ain't got the mega millions in this car, and he won it, and so that. That's like cool. So I was excited about that. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was excited to see Grigsby win the race, because I mean, you want to talk about a guy that's been snake bit all year
long.
Man, he has just had a fucking bad.
You gotta think this is a guy that, you know, in past years it was pretty much a guaranteed win when he got on the track, and then this year it seemed like everything was against him. So.
It was just a shit sandwich after another, and I felt bad for him, and like there was a time when we weren't very fond of one another, and I think but that is also was like his dad. God, his dad used to put some ass kickings on my dad. I'm talking about, and make me mad.
Yeah.
Like I told Dean Rasco that I love him to death now, but when I was a kid, I fucking hated his guts. God, I hated
with a passion,
with a
1,000 burning suns.
First time I ever said the word fuck was like, fuck Dean Rasco. Like, you know, but I love him to death. Because like the other night I was walking through the pits and I don't have a car there, and I see Dean Rasco on the ground changing springs and shocks.
You gotta go help.
Damn right I did. I ain't gonna let that legend out there sweating to death. I ain't gonna have a damn stroke. But what was funny is he goes out there and he's racing, and the damn axle broke, and the car jerked hard to the right. And everybody looked at me because I just put the front end back under the car. I'm like, that was from the back end. Like,
I didn't do all that.
Kill a legend, but.
Well, it's the same way if you race against people like that too. Like Cody Adams is a guy that we race against all the time in the sprint car, and he was always winning races, and we were fast too. So it always seemed like it was us up front, always together.
Yeah.
And I loved racing with him. It's so much fun to race with because you knew what he was going to do, and you trusted racing with him. But at the same time, I hated that dude. Man, that's like, man, you know, we're good friends, and we always helped each other and stuff. But exactly like. Yeah. When you see him, and sometimes it was the roles would be reversed, but man, you're running good, and you're like, man, this car's feeling good. I'm fast. I'm fixing to win. You're running up front, and then with 3 or 4 laps to go, he comes by you on the outside. You're like, man, I almost crashed this guy.
Fuck this guy,
man. How are you doing this?
The ones that get me are the ones that run up to you, and you know they know you, so they're friends. So like if me and him get beside each other. If you got the ones that the helmet comes down and they're all business and you can't distract them for nothing, but then you have these goofballs, and I'm one of those where I'm serious, but until that green flag, don't look over there because I'm gonna be doing some weird shit, just trying to catch. Well, all of a sudden one day, I got caught by my own damn game. One of them got up beside me, he just flipped me off, and I was like, "You son of a bitch!" Like I got mad, like, and he's like, but this is the one thing I don't like is I don't understand this in dirt track. Have you seen that a lot lately? When they hit you and they run you over.
Yeah, it's like, man, I'm sorry.
And I'm like,
What'd I do? What'd I do? Did I do that? I'm sorry.
my dad's not here. They're fucking horrible.
That still doesn't get me as bad as the sticks and the late models. I haven't figured the sticks out yet.
What's the sticks?
These guys stand up in the stands, and I guess they're like crew guys, and they have two like lighted, look like airplane guys or whatever they are, and they stand up there doing all kinds of crazy stuff the whole time. Which I mean, I'm sure they have
signaling them, have some type of language they're talking.
Yeah, they have a legitimate purpose, and they're communicating. But
well,
every time I think of those sticks, have you ever seen the movie Airplane?
Yeah.
Where the guy's like, it's over there by the baggage terminal, and the plane
yeah.
crashes into the thing.
Because and the thing is, they're super secretive.
Yeah,
they're not going to let you know what the fuck they're doing.
It's like baseball call signs.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Well, but like, see, but I have my own. Like, and now I'm gonna let everybody's gonna know my secret.
This means fuck you.
No, well, no, actually, real quick. So right when we first got our radios, Edward Rice is out there, and me and him are racing. He's running Papa Pump's factory stock, and I know how Edward starts races, and I know how I start races, and we gonna make some contact, and we did. And the thing was, is so Edward flipped me off, and I flipped him back off. You son of a bitch, we're right here. The lady gets on the thing. She goes, "Don't be flipping off anybody. The kids can see you." And I ain't gonna lie to you. Me and Edward at the same time flipped off the whole grandstand.
Hell yeah!
Just like
running laps.
Well, what are you gonna do? Come get us?
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, that was uncalled for." Like that. But
right.
The other.
That's a movie scene if I've ever heard it. You know what I mean?
So I've got signs. I got signs that if you're in my inner circle, you'll know. Like Cody, he's not gonna look up to me. You know, I'm dirt track trash.
Whatever.
But like, if I'm rubbing my chest, that means go up top. If I'm rubbing my belly, that's go in the middle. If I grab a hold of my crotch, that means you better be as far to the bottom as you can go. And this one guy's like, "Why do you scratch your crotch when you're rooting for your dad?" And I'm like, "I'm not. I'm telling him to go low. You can't mistake it." But I mean, they're so secretive with it. And they're like, "We got the fucking flash."
You got the little stick. Then you got people in the stand just like doing that. Like, first of all, I don't even look up there. But you know,
you've never looked up there and seen that like one drunk lady that
no,
really wants you to
really
win.
wants you to win. But I want to. If I did, after the race, I would go up and say, "I'm already doing this the best I can. I don't need you to help me." You know, it's like...
Well, you know, everybody wants to play their part. You know, everybody tells
it's
the quarterback how to throw the football, and
it's part of the show.
Man.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's
like
they're there. They got to put their... And that's the good thing, I guess, about racing versus like a Facebook or something like that. Like, you don't have to see or hear their... Just don't look in the stands. Right. You know, everybody wants to put their input in.
You will get a 9-line bitching for not looking.
Yeah. Well, fuck you. How's
even,
that?
Well, no, it's
you weren't even looking at me. Yeah, I know, because you're an idiot.
No, it's normally your mama.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you look at your mom.
No, my mom was that lady. No.
No.
You got the sprint cars that I normally run with. When you got the wings, you can't see anything. Then you get a late model, and they're so low, you can't see anything. But you still got people up doing stuff. So it's just funny to me. But like I said, it's part of the show, and it's. You go to the dirt track, that's part of it. Getting dirt in your beer and watching somebody with
dirt in your beer. Look at that.
With a wife beater and cigarettes in their
tits.
tits.
Just sitting there just like, I mean, and they're telling,
go, you gotta go. Like, I'm doing the best I can, lady.
And
like the hell out of it.
Well, no, because I mean, like, there's sometimes you are just all you got.
Yep.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I remember this one race that I did. They had a wreck on the track, and there was transmission fluid everywhere. And my uncle was the guy at the fence, and he's telling me to come up. And I'm like, no, y'all ain't seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing but a disaster in turn 1. And he's like, come on up. And I'm like, nah, player. Like, they threw the green flag, and I went to the bottom. And if I would have looked over there, because there's a video of it, you see my uncle.
Oh, he's not listening to me.
Yeah. And then what happens? The second place car goes and wipes out. And third place car goes in there, dives, and hits him. And I looked at him and said, how'd you know that greasy spot? Because I'm on the track,
I can see
fool.
it.
Like,
yeah,
I can
motherfucker.
see this.
It's right here.
Yeah. But this has been fun.
Yeah, tell me what you got coming.
For what?
Anything? Any shows? Anything coming up?
Nothing. I know we got some open mics coming up.
We should have Barcord tomorrow, Monday, right?
Yeah.
Starts at 9.
Yeah.
Barcord, which is at the Trejo's on Erie Drive.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Shout out to Tony Tone. That was the
The
headliner.
comedian this weekend.
My God.
Yeah, you said he killed it last
No,
night.
when
right?
I tell you that it made you want to go home and rewrite your life, this dude started off the show high power, high energy, knocked him dead, and then ended it. He only ended because he's like, I've been up here for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's time. I gotta go.
I have never seen people walk out of the club, smoke a cigarette, and they're like, I'm so tired from laughing, and then walk back in there just begrudgingly, but they're not done. And he put on a hell of a show, and super nice guy, but my point, I mean, and every week at LOL, they have national headliners coming in.
And that's every Friday and Saturday,
every
right?
Friday and Saturday.
Starts at 9 there too, right?
I think we're going to actually do the open mic this Wednesday. Hopefully
yeah,
that happens.
that one should start at 8.
As far as racing goes, Showtime's done, right?
They have one more, I think, on the 16th. I think that's when it's going to be.
Yeah, I
Or
think.
the 19th or something like that.
I know
One
the
more race.
16th is Boot Hill, and
Right.
that's their award ceremony and a race. And then they've got the topless, November 29th, they've got the topless, and then, of course, October, big race for factory stocks. You got the Cajun.
Cajun Classic.
Where's
They
that
want-
at?
Shout out to anybody that wants to get me a radiator.
We need a
and-
sponsor, radiator sponsor.
And
Give us
some
one.
valve springs. And then you could contribute to Big Sexy totaling his race car out at the Cajun Classic.
All right, let's try to
Yeah.
get this dude's car fucked up.
You know what they said is that I don't have a nose piece on my car, so they're saying that I don't know where the front end of my car is, so that's my problem because I have a small little bumper now,
Yeah.
and they're like,
Yeah, you have lost a lot of weight.
yeah, it really.
I don't like the nose piece. I like the open front better.
Well, what about you, man? You got anything coming up? Any races? You want to give a shout out to your scrap company? Where's it at?
Man, we own the Soda Iron and Metal. It's in Mansfield on 7760 Highway 84. Take any kind of scrap all the time, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Not a weekend job there, huh?
No, we do. It's
to hell with working on.
yeah,
the
we don't really
weekend.
work
I
on
don't do.
weekends.
I had to do it today.
We
but-
work on weekends, but we're not open to the public on weekends because we're trying to fix everything we tore up during the week. But
that sounds about right.
as far as racing goes, I think our year's pretty close to being done. We may run one more time, just try to get everything fixed up for next year, and hopefully this crate deal will take off and we get a few cars.
I really
and,
feel like it will, though.
I think
'cause,
so.
I mean, like you got a lot of good shoes coming
Yeah,
in there,
I think-
and I mean, like, now I'm gonna tell you right now, Bonkum shit.
Nice.
I think no, it was flying though.
Yeah.
God, it was so fast.
Where did he go with it?
Boot Hill, they let him hot lap on practice night before the state championships.
I
and
wonder why he wouldn't come to Manny last night and race.
I'll tell you whenever we're not talking publicly because I know that what he has is one of Ray Moore's old cars, and I'm wondering if he's put the crate motor in there yet.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that thing was bad fast, and then this other guy come out there and he was having a little bit of trouble.
Right.
But I'm telling you right now, well, Chad's car's not done.
Right.
So
we
he-
got
Chad-
Turnage is getting one.
Turnage is getting one.
Tupper has one.
Garen's getting one.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
so,
I
mean,
heard last night that maybe heard talk of Rob Litton and Rick Duke.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Rob Litton, that's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
there's a lot of them that like I think if it brings back a lot of the an older caliber
Yeah.
where it's guys that are not afraid to mash on it, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's
it'll be
gonna,
good.
I think it's gonna be a
it'll
good. I think it's gonna be a fun class to watch.
And the sprint cars are dead around here, and I've always said that late models are where sprint car drivers go to retire. So maybe we can pick up a few old sprint car guys too.
Yeah.
I hope so. Anyways, but yeah, man, I don't know. That's pretty much it for our racing deal this year, and I gotta thank, like I said, Kyle Bassett for helping me, and
Shout out, Kyle.
thanks
for helping.
Me and him drove to Jackson, Mississippi, and picked my car up, and I told my wife that we were going to get a race car, but I didn't tell her who was buying it. So that night we came straight back from Jackson to Boot Hill to race with the LA late models, and somebody during the course of the night told her that it was my car that I had bought it.
Shit.
Oh.
So she didn't care. I mean, she pretty much expects that kind of stuff, but shout out to her for putting up with stuff like
Damn
that.
right.
Good
Yeah,
job, man.
putting
There's,
up.
shout out to all the good wives out
Yeah,
there that
the
put
good
up with
wives.
Yeah.
that put up there with their husband's bullshit.
Yeah.
I
And
know,
thank y'all, man.
I know there's got to be 3 of them that are associated with
Yeah,
us
yeah.
3 assholes.
Yeah, well, Hey, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm so glad you came on.
Man,
This-
I enjoy this a lot. This is awesome.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice
to meet
I've really enjoyed this.
I mean, and like I said, for anybody that is listening, we're trying to get any kind of guests. We're not if you think we're like my favorite thing that we really need to put out there is if you think we're being ignorant on anything, come on and talk to us about
right,
it. But
right.
Come tell me about
But,
it. Come educate me, enlighten me,
But
please.
see, like I was telling you, the thing that I was really excited about is it's a chance for us to you don't know anything about that life. And
I know
mean,
nothing about it.
Like I mean, and I feel like
I've told you the limited experiences that I've had about going to the racetrack.
well, right now I feel like just hearing us legends here just talking
Right.
about
really makes me want to come
God,
up
you
with
just-
something to do every
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday
Yeah,
night,
just-
just so I can be like, no, I'm busy.
Well, but before this, I had no clue about hooking up telephones. So.
Well, hey, I can teach you
yeah,
everything.
see,
There we
see,
go.
Look,
yeah.
all you got to remember is the color code. Why rate black young virgins? Then that's all you got to remember.
See, now why are we going to
Yeah,
end with
yeah, there
that?
we go.
Like,
White, red, black, yellow, violet. That's the color code. Some old man told me a long time ago, man, you got to 25 pair. You got to remember the color code, and it's why rate black young virgins. And I'm like, wait, what? White, red, black, yellow, violet.
There you
Go
go.
hook up some telephones.
There
but-
we go.
yeah, but
Cody the Beard, right?
Cody the
That's
Beard.
what,
Cody
they,
the Beard.
that's what they say.
Well, I'd ask how you got it, but I think I can tell.
Yeah.
Well, Cody, man, it was very nice to meet you, sir. I do
sir.
appreciate you coming out.
Enjoyed it. Glenn,
Hope you
thank
did enjoy it.
Thank
G.
you.
Lynn,
Big sexy.
I'm thinking about.
Big,
I can't.
Big sexy senior.
I don't know if I
The
want to call him
original.
G. Lynn or Glennathan.
Not neither. I don't.
Oh,
know.
you're getting something,
No.
and it ain't big sexy. I tell you that now.
Glennathan's cooler
I like
than
Glennathan.
G-Lynn.
I used to. I've had Glenifer, which I hate.
Oh,
Glenn Jamin,
Glenjamin.
which I'm fine with.
Glenjamin.
And then you have shout out to Shelby Griffin because she calls me Glendola, and I hate it.
Glendale.
At my wedding, she's like, "Oh, Glendola."
My stepbrother got called Sherman by a friend of mine, and we never stopped calling him Sherman. I even have. I'm going to say this, and I don't know if I'm 100% accurate here, but his dad even calls him Sherman.
That's beautiful.
When I talk to the other people that call him Sherman, if you refer to him by his actual name, they're like, "Wait, who?" And you're like, "Oh yeah, the Shermanator." And they're like, "Oh yeah, he's doing all right."
I think this is gonna be good though. This is really cool. First guest.
First guest.
Had a good conversation.
I've enjoyed it.
Hope we didn't talk over you too much.
Oh
or,
no,
you know.
No.
I think
I think
thought
y'all
it was
two meshed
awesome.
well. I mean, I think it was great.
Yeah, I think it was
Well,
awesome.
I hate to tell you this, Johnny.
Well, you better do it quick because we got 3 minutes or 4 minutes. This thing's gonna cut us off.
You're out now.
That's fine.
I'm just kidding.
Well, stay tuned for the next episode of my podcast.
His man cave.
No, just my podcast. If I'm out. All right. Well, we're gonna do another one soon. Like he said, if you've got anything that you want us to talk about,
If you want to be a guest on this
if you
show,
want to be a guest, let us know.
if you get offended, we are very honored because we didn't think about you when we wrote it.
even a little, and
Not
even
even-
when I hear that you're offended, I'm still not gonna care. I'm just letting you know.
That's the comic lifestyle.
Well, all right. Anything else?
No, tune in because we're going to be doing more. We're doing more of these. If we don't have a guest, it's just going to be me and you bullshitting. And
Sounds good to me.
hell yeah.
Hell
All
yeah.
right, that's it.
All right.
See you later.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
That was great. It was great.
Oh my